Hello, chat. Good evening. Or it is, well, actually, it's good afternoon. It's Saturday. Hope you guys are doing well. And yes, we are going to talk about, well, it depends. If you believe he's actually dead, because that's the first thing. Some of you may not believe Tupac Shakur is dead. He might still be alive. You may have seen his concerts, which they claim are holograms, but who actually knows? Maybe he was living with Elvis. Maybe he was living with Master P in the hood. We don't know. But apparently in Nevada, they think he's dead. And because of that, they're having a murder trial. So joining me today is the great Kat, not Williams. How are you doing,
Hi,
Kat?
guys. Good, good. Also, if you didn't know, Tupac is supposed to be in a video game that's coming out.
Yes.
So very cool, very cool. He's still
Yes.
able to do that.
Yes. Connie Desquad says, it was me. I did it. You don't steal thunder, man. We got a guy who says he did it himself. Like what? Like you can't steal somebody's You can't steal gangbanger valor like that.
And we're going to learn all about adoptive admissions today.
Yes. All right. And we're going to fix this because it throws me off a little if I'm not the right side. Anyways, welcome, chat. Here we go.
I love the auto zoom.
Yeah. Well, oh no, I did that. I can
Okay.
click it in and out. Like I can go like woo and like all that. So.
Oh my God, someone's typing upside down in the chat.
Yeah, I don't know how you do that, but apparently that is a thing. So there we go. All right. We're being punked a little bit. You were. Although it's you got a gap in your layout. Yeah, that's a StreamYard thing. That's not me. So
you can see the background and know it's still there.
Yeah,
that's in spirit.
Yes. But yes, guys, it is about the murder of Tupac Shakur. Tupac was murdered in 1996, almost 30 years ago, this September. And nobody was ever charged in his death until
I think 23.
The past couple of years here. And if you guys don't know the story, Tupac Shakur, especially you younger people out there, Tupac actually was a rapper, not just memes you hear about or things you see. He was actually a rapper, and he was 25, and in 1996, he was on fire, as part of the East Coast, West Coast thing. Biggie, had already, was going on there. And then the night of the Mike Tyson fight in L.A., or in Las Vegas.
You didn't say L.A., right?
What?
You didn't say LA, right?
I said I meant LA in Las Vegas. So they're driving, and Tupac's with Suge Knight, and some of you might say, "Oh, you mean the producer guy who's in prison for running people over and killing them?" Yes, that's Suge Knight. Yes. Allegedly, as the story goes, at least the prosecution's theory, what a lot of people believe, Tupac and Suge beat the tar out of a guy named Orlando Anderson, who was a Crip out in Compton, and he was at this thing, and there was some sort of they had some sort of disagreement. I don't know if it was about Russian fiscal policy in the aftermath of the collapse of the Soviet Union, or I'm not sure what they were arguing about. But anyways, Suge and Tupac and people in Tupac's group beat the tar out of this guy, allegedly. Beat the piss out of him. What the prosecution then believes is that Duane Keefe D. Davis, who was what they are calling, and he tried to claim he was as a shot caller in the Southside Crips, rolled up on Tupac, and he had already tossed a gun into the back seat, and Orlando Anderson rolled down his window and went bop, 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 shot Tupac 4 times, wounded Suge Knight, and then about a week later, Tupac dies. We don't know we can't ask Orlando Anderson about it because he's dead.
Yeah, like all the passengers in the car.
Everybody in the car is dead. And surprisingly, in Kat, this is where, it sounds a bit of a conspiracy to me. Gang members getting killed in gang violence. Like, can you believe it? Can you believe that?
Not at all.
But no, that's what happened. Orlando Anderson got into he had been shot a couple of times. He actually did all this. He'd been there, done that, and got the T-shirt. He got killed.
He was like the first to die.
Yeah, he died in 1998. And there weren't a whole lot of things going on. And then in 2008, Keefe D allegedly gave statements, he gave statements to the police about what happened. And we're going to hear from Keefe D because he actually gave an interview this past week about everything, and I don't know. Don't talk, guys, don't talk. But he gave an interview to the police. We're going to hear about that interview, and then in 2019, we get this book, Compton Street Legend, written Keefe D with a guy named Yusuf Yah. Obviously, it's a memoir most of the time. This is ghostwritten, but Keefe D talks about a lot, and on the back, the last living eyewitness to Tupac's murder is telling his story. And other than Suge Knight, who is still alive, but he's in prison. He's not getting out till like 2030 something. Well, how would he know? If he was the last eyewitness, if he's an eyewitness, it means he was there. Well, as things go here, you get to hold on. In his book here, I forgot what page is that on.
I love the book club. You should do this more often.
The Gangbanger Book Club, yes. He in a chapter titled "The Main Event," but they have so many great, the chapters in the book: "Dancing with the Devil," "Betrayal," "We Know," "Takedown." I've read a bunch of it. "Eye for an Eye." I mean, Keefe D was in the Crips. He was there's no question about that. And for those of you guys who aren't aware, yes, the Bloods and the Crips, all of that originated out in Compton, out in the south side of LA. And if you guys aren't aware, Compton's about 10 miles by 10 miles. It's kind of like the size of Washington, D.C. There were at that time, and I think in total, really, on average, about 50 different sets. If you guys ever watched, what movie is that with the Hoover Deuce? But anyways, just 50 different gangs of Crips and Bloods. And it wasn't just there were just Bloods. There were all kinds of Bloods. There were all kinds of Crips. And they generally all kind of all the Bloods hated all the Crips, but sometimes the Bloods would fight each other. Sometimes the Crips would fight each other. Sometimes certain Crips would fight the Bloods. Sometimes certain Bloods would fight the Crips. It's an entirely weird thing. Gang politics is very, very weird. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But that's
why you have to call a random detective to the stand, call them a gang expert, and have them explain it all to a jury.
Yes. And that's the thing, though, gang experts. And I will say, when I was in the prosecutor's office, we would, in the one office I was in, we get these flyers from these different police organizations and training organizations. You could get trained on being a gang expert. And obviously, I think they sent it out to every thing, but I'm like,
oh my God, you should have done it.
Yeah, my boss wasn't going to pay for it because it was $10,000 for a 2-week course. And he's and he also looked at me, I did ask him, but I'm like, do they know that we only have a county of 45,000 people here? And he's like, well, you never know. The gangs might move in. We might have an oil rush or something.
Only takes 3 people.
Yes. Well, in many states, yes, but not in Ohio.
Well, that's good. Good for Ohio.
But technically, a basketball team is technically a gang. Under some interpretations of when you hear police talk about what gangs are.
The criteria, they need the similar uniform.
Oh, yeah. Well, I remember I was in a case once. I was second chair on it, and we decided to mock the detective a little bit. So the Boy Scouts are a gang. They're so dangerous. They have the Eagles. Their leader's the Eagle, isn't he?
A mascot.
And they had their grades. They have the Weeblo Scouts and the Cub Scouts and the and they go up. And then they have the Adventurers. And yeah, they have their hand symbols. They got their colors they wear. No, everything. A fraternity is technically can be considered a gang. It's just and the attorney I was with, she asked him that, and he's like, "Well, I don't think they're criminals." Well, do you think they engage in underage drinking? Isn't that a crime? They work together to foster that. And she's like, "Would you call them a gang?" She's like, "I bet we can go down to the University of Toledo and find a bunch of gangs on Friday night." And I got the jury to laugh. It was actually
You're going to love
funny.
Florida earlier this year expanded the criteria for classifying someone as a gang associate. And it's
really,
if you've been in the same room as somebody, you are now an associate.
Really?
It's so broad. It is so broad.
Okay.
So have fun down here.
Yes. Okay, so real quick, we're going to do this because this is the book here, and I had to make sure I lost my little tabby in this, but I want you guys to see this here, what we're talking about. So this is the book, and this is the book here. This is Keefe D, Well, he's going to claim he didn't write this, but we'll get to that. Here is what Keefe D wrote, or here's what's written according to Keefe D. Okay. So, and this is from the chapter called The Main Event. He talks about all my young homies have already been shot at least once, so their street experience turned them into stone cold killers. They learned not to wait to get shot, but to be the shooter. They had the mentality of it's going to be either them or me. So you talk about with solemn faces, we waited in complete silence in the parking lot of Club 662 for more than an hour. Well, what do you think they're looking for at that point? Oh, geez, like they're waiting for somebody, not to have a good time. You know, we were as grave as a heart attack. The only thing audible was his breathing and tense, throbbing hearts. There was no need for words. We all understood why we were there. Well, why were you there? I don't know. So they talk about waiting, and they go on. They talk about a lot more waiting. They go out and buy because you know what? When you're getting ready to do a hit on somebody, go to the liquor barn and get liquored up because that's what you really need. You need Dutch courage to go get into a shootout. So
Which
they talk about
contradicts what he just said. Like we got there where we're not going to do any of that stuff, but also,
oh yeah, no, we're serious. But man, I want to get toe up as well. So they go hang around all that night. And this is the night of the Mike Tyson fight, and this is afterwards. So they say, as we were loading up to leave the liquor barn, I took advantage of the chance to get away from them scary niggas in the van. But I thought you guys were all scary, bad, street tough dudes. I jumped in the front passenger seat of the Cadillac because I knew in the caddy they wasn't with that bullshit. Okay. I pulled out the Glock that Zip had given me and tossed it in the back seat. Bubble Up, who was the driver, is dead. Did the driving. Baby Lane and Freaky were riding in the back. Baby Lane and Freaky are all dead. So, you know, they talk about after our pit stop, we were driving around. As we were driving, there were two vehicles with us that got caught at the traffic light, but we kept rolling a few blocks down. We were set to the light. Who do we see? The Death Row Caravan hit the corner with Tupac hanging out the window of a black BMW waving to his fans. And people saying, yo, Pac, we love you. In unison, all of our heads turned. There them motherfuckers go right there. If Pac had not been hanging out the window, we would never have seen them. So they bust a Yui. And as they sat in traffic, we rolled past the line of cars. And we looked at each one until we found the front and who we were looking for. And then this is just...
This like line is
two
crazy.
Rams locking horns. Suge and I looked each other dead in the eye. This reads like... I bet you it's like... This is kind of gay. But it's also pretty impressive for a gangbanger. The terrified expression on the Suge's face read, damn. It's like, yeah, okay.
And it also doesn't make sense with like the car seating. So if Suge is driving and we know that and Keefe D is supposed to be in the passenger seat
so
and
he's
Orlando's sitting behind him. Right. Yeah. Like it's like
yeah. Yeah. It's very, very, very weird. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but hey, okay. No words exchanged. Time for talking to past shit was about to go down. The next few seconds happened so quickly. You know, shit was on. Tupac made an erratic move, began to reach down under his seat. This sounds like a cop saying he made a furtive move. He made a furtive move, and it was the first and only time in my life that I could relate to the police command. Keep your hands where I could see them. Instead, Pac pulled out a strap, which I don't think was ever confirmed. I don't think he ever had a gun on him at this. Tupac was kind of like a fake gangster, you know, with all the, you know, all the stuff in his life.
Oh, and I feel like this would have happened too fast to observe any of this.
Yeah, but I don't think even in the aftermath, Tupac ever had a gun on him. I don't think there was ever reported he had a gun, so... Instead, Pac pulled out a strap. If you guys are unfamiliar, strap means gun. Yeah, because you carry it on a leather belt, like a strap. Although I think most people know what a strap is, but... And that's when the fireworks started. One of my guys from the back seat grabbed the Glock and started busting back. The first shot skinned Suge in the head. I thought the motherfucker was dead. I heard stories that Suge supposedly used Tupac as a shield when the bullets started flying. But that's some bullshit. I had heard that story, too, that Suge had grabbed... Because Suge Knight's a big guy. Grabbed Tupac and was, like, using him as a human shield, which... I guess. Stop biting your nails. Yeah, that's not going to happen. Yes, all gangsters graduate from a performing arts school. Yes.
Would you read, like, I know there's like bifurcation, certain parts of this book can't come in until the second, if there's a guilt on the murder charge, then they have to talk about the gang enhancement or whatever. But if you just say you had free reign over this book, state gets the whole thing in, defending him, would you just like read parts of this and ask whoever's on the stand if this was,
does this match up exactly?
Yeah, like just point out how ridiculous it is, and it's clearly hyperbole.
Some of it is. And then he was the first one that got touched. The rounds continued flying. I ducked down so I wouldn't get hit. And then from there, he says, like, we don't know why the police didn't check Tupac's hands for powder burns, see if he was shooting, because the car we were in was shot the fuck up. Now, this is going to be some interesting stuff, because if Tupac really was shooting at these guys,
they never got the car. Yeah. They never got the rental. It was a rental car.
But also, if Tupac was shooting at you and you defended yourself, this is where, a good time is,
Write it in the book.
No, well, a good time to tell it is, like, go to the cops and be like, yo, hey, we got shot at. Please help us. Like, we had to defend ourselves. But yes, you guys can get that out of the book, Compton Street Legend, Keefe D. So Keefe D got indicted for murder in 2023, and he's been fighting it. We learned his attorney gave an interview I saw yesterday on YouTube. He took the case. He got hired in April because the other attorneys quit because Keefe D has no money. This attorney's doing it pro bono, and he took the case on in April. So the guy's only been there for 4 months. And he seems like a good dude. I researched him, but it's like, damn, man. Oh, but Keefe D did. Well, I guess, Kat, what are your thoughts on this?
Which part? Oh,
just about,
I don't know. I haven't read the book. I knew you read it before the stream, and I think that selection is. I can imagine the rest of the book being written by like that.
Yeah.
And it seems like somebody who wants to sell a story that's based. There's a little bit of truth there behind it, but we're going to pad it up because we do want to sell a book. Yeah,
and it's just I guess it's just there's always this idea of like, why would you implicate yourself? At a why would you implicate yourself in one of the most famous murderers in the past 50 years? And as Stringer Bell once told us, and you've watched The Wire, right?
Yeah. I was gonna say you have
Is you taking notes on a criminal fucking conspiracy? What the fuck is you thinking, man?
You could turn that into a drinking game for this stream every time he on himself.
Yes. And for those of you guys who weren't aware, like I guess because I'm not. We also have people who are not from America watching. Here's Tupac and Suge Knight. This is the night it all happened. That date's not correct on the camera, but that's them driving around that night. Somebody photographed them, and it's we don't know exactly where this was taken, so this could have been minutes or maybe an hour or two before Tupac got shot. But it really is a thing. It really is a thing there. But the best part of this is Keefe D gave an interview about this book. And Kat, you sent me the link, and this is gold, chat. I think you guys need to hear this. And we don't have to listen to the whole thing, but the beginning of this is totally worth it.
And watch the reporter try to keep her face, guys.
Oh yeah, it is really, really good. And Keefe D's been in jail now since 2023. He actually ended up getting into a fight with another inmate and actually had a new criminal case because of that. So
he was convicted in that.
Yeah. And he's already, he's been.
He said that was self-defense. He brought up that argument for that case.
Yes. He already claimed self-defense there, but in this one, he's claiming he was never there. So is Tupac the notorious guy? Yes, that's it. Yes, and they're hip and hopping rap music where they pop and lock. And Sweet Tooth Fairy says there's no statute of limitations on murder, correct? Correct. And whether or not you are the actual trigger man or you handed the gun or you were part of the crew that did it, basically he's involved in conspiracy to commit the murder because he's not accused of shooting. Nobody thinks he did, but they think, he gave the gun to people and he told them to do it. And Coffee Cat for $5 thinks Will Smith did it. I mean, Will Smith was up and coming at that point still. He had, this was his in to get into Men in Black. He had to kill them. They let him have the Men in Black script, I guess. And the Independence Day script. So, anyways, here is the interview, guys. Let's just listen.
Well, you've been in custody since 2023. Your trial's coming up in a few days. How are you holding up?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Best I can. Yep. So how you doing?
Getting ready for the trial as well. So I read your book, Compton Street Legend, that you co-authored. Why did you feel the need to tell your story? And when you wrote it, did you ever imagine the situation?
Also, Kat, if you want me to stop at any point, just yell stop, and we'll stop.
Got it.
Should it be now?
I didn't write that book. I just told him 10 things in my life and gave him some pictures. He did research and stuff like that. Him and my lawyer did that book. My lawyer died, and I just went on and signed on to it with him. I never read it or nothing.
You were never handed a manuscript to sign off on?
No, I never read the book or nothing. It was already, and him and my lawyer was doing, his name was Duane with Higgins, and he passed water in his yard. And they was friends, and they.
Well, he's saying that he had a lawyer at the time helping write it with the.
He just kicked the bucket while watering his garden, he said.
Yeah, I think that's what he was trying to say. But yeah, no, this thing where I'm implicated in one of the biggest murders ever. No, I didn't actually read any of this.
And he's repeating the same thing. My lawyer told me to do it, and he's dead. My lawyer's dead. Yeah. It's like he's getting ahead of you can't go ask him about it.
Yep. It's my next witness is the ghost who never tells a lie, and only I can see him and talk to him. But yes, he's like, you got to believe me. Like, can you believe it? Everybody who knows the truth is dead but me.
He got in contact with me, then I was just signed on to him. He gave me like 10 pictures, told me like 10 things that happened in my life, and he added all the adverbs and stuff like that. He did the thing on research.
I like that. He's like, I told him the things, and he added all the adverbs. Obviously, he's trying to say, I told him stories, and this guy embellished all of them, is what he's trying to argue. That I just gave him some pictures, this guy embellished the shit out of it. But that's his main argument here is.
But embellishment means what, Sean? What's the foundation of an embellishment?
Generally something true. Because if it's not true, if it's a complete lie, nobody's going to believe it. I was at the scene of a murder. That sounds pretty believable to me. Given you're like a pretty bad dude, like Keefe D has actually a pretty shitty criminal record. Like, this is not a nice man. This man has done a lot of bad things, and he was actually involved in a lot of gang activity. So, he's very rare in the gang world that he's an old gangster. So, but he did. I guarantee this guy got his hands dirty too at some point.
So, yeah, I didn't write that book.
Well, I did read it. It mentions some interactions you had with Tupac Shakur. How would you describe your relationship with Tupac before September 1996?
I prefer not to talk about that stuff. I would like to say how my family is in danger and stuff like that, and how I wasn't even in Las Vegas. So I wasn't in Vegas when this stuff happened. So I just said that stuff to get out of it.
I wasn't even there. Now, for those of you guys who don't understand what this is getting into here, in 2008, he talked with the police and gave a proffer.
The feds and LAPD at the time.
Yes, to the FBI. And you're going to hear him talk about a 302, and that's what the FBI writes out their 302 forms. He claims that he sat down with them and the LAPD, and he told him all kinds of crap in exchange for immunity. But notice what he's going to say here. He's going to say some things, and he's going to say, I was never there, but listen to this.
I wasn't in Vegas when this stuff happened. I just said that stuff to get out of trouble.
So you were not.
So part of, so you lied to the police. They gave me immunity, but you lied about it. You said it's all not true. So which one is it? Do you want the immunity, or did you lie about to get the immunity? Because if you lie to get the immunity, guess what, guys? You don't have immunity. The immunity is taken away. It's conditioned upon you telling the truth. So this is a bit of an issue for Keefe D. Like, how's this all going to actually work? And you guys can see this is like, well, buddy, I think is the best way to describe it. This is a lot of issues for him here. So let's keep going. But it's something to think about.
In Las Vegas, you're saying September 7th, 1996?
No, I wasn't. They can't prove I wasn't in Las Vegas.
Now he can't. Once they can't prove it.
My family is in real danger.
Yeah, now they can't prove it.
They got like 2 witnesses there's some dangerous dudes. Like they said, my son put out a hit on one of them. His name is Dante Lee. He's the one real dangerous. He killed 3 guys out there in La Mirada, California.
Okay.
And he said my son put out a hit on him. I wouldn't want my son nowhere near him because he get to kill people for free and get out of jail for free. You know what I'm saying? And, they gave him $5,000. Well, we just played them out of $5,000. He's wrong, He's wrong. And then that Reggie Wright Jr.,
You were going to say something?
No, I was just thinking, like, he seems upset. Like, if what he's saying about this other guy is true in terms of this other guy, Daryl Lee, it seems like he's upset. He gets to kill people for free and gets out of jail for it.
Yeah.
Like,
yes.
It's like he's envious.
Yes. And Reggie Wright Jr. is the former head of security at Death Row Records, and that's Suge Knight's company. It's where Tupac was out of. That's where the whole thing goes here. Bart Bell is saying, just so years after Tupac's murder, it was known that Keefe's crew, and it was over the MGM beatdown out of Orlando. Yeah, I mean, like, there are a lot of theories that came out, but, like, there was never anything that could be proven at all concretely. But, yes, there were a lot of, like, what happened, but it was never 100%, nailed down. T-Rex Travel says, so Eminem was wrong about Diddy putting the hit out. I've heard that, too. Yes, Diddy tried to drown these guys in baby oil. Ew. Oh.
Threatening my son on the internet. The last few days, he didn't threaten him on the internet. It's wrong. It's wrong.
Could you describe, back in the 90s, the tension between the Southside Crips and Death Row Records?
There wasn't no tension between us and never because maybe about 2 weeks before that September, in August 96, we was at the House of Blues, and they had a concert with the Loonies. Suge, Tupac, and Snoop pulled up in some Rolls Royces. And they came and said, what's going on here? I said, the concert over with. And he said, let's go up to Paradise. We got up there on Santa Monica and Hyatt, right there in Hancock District in LA. We was never at odds with each other. Me and him as friends since we've been knowing each other since we was 8 years old. I played football with him, and his daddy and uncles was our coach. Yeah. I was never at odds with him.
I do want to mention, you had said that you were not in Vegas the night that Tupac died when there was the Mike Tyson fight. Again, I read your book, this book, every single page. You included a picture of your sister and yourself at the fight.
That wasn't no fight. Why would I wear an overcoat?
Okay, so there are some issues here. This is the picture of him, and this is the picture of him and his sister. And then this is him and Orlando Anderson. So this is him and Orlando Anderson. And yes, he is going to say, like, yes, they are wearing overcoats. Looks a little weird because it's September in Las Vegas. And I get the desert's cold, but I don't think it was that cold because the picture of Tupac, they're riding around like this. Now, what is the actual answer here? It's not clear. It's not really clear what's going on here. But here's Tupac and Suge. Like, they're not bundled up. But, they're claiming here, these guys are all bundled up. It's like, yeah, that is a little weird. And then this is him and his sister at the fight is a claim this picture is. So that's what he's talking about right there. So, yeah, that is a bit of an issue. That's a bit of an issue. But once again, okay, these pictures might not be correct, but this book that I was given money for that I never read, and but I totally didn't say all this. I don't know, man. I don't know. Let's keep going though, because look at her face. She's just like, how do you expect me to believe this? So here we go. She's like struggling to go like, oh God, if I laugh, he's gonna hang up.
Again, I read this book, every single page. You included a picture of your sister and yourself at the fight.
That wasn't no fight. Why would I wear an overcoat in September? That's what I had no fight. Why would I wear an overcoat and a hat? I had a suit on and an overcoat. That was a New Year's party.
So it says over here, me and my sister at the fight.
I didn't argue that book. That dude just put that stuff in there. He ain't had no fight. But September the 7th, it'll be 115 degrees. What I want to wear a suit with an overcoat on and a hat. Don't make sense.
So
go back and look at the degrees. That September, you think I'll wear that in September 7th? Come on now. A suit with an overcoat on and a hat. That was at a New Year's Eve party. You see Orlando, he got the same floor.
Yep.
He had on a Dan Marino jacket. Dan Marino shirt that night in September, didn't he?
You're saying that
raise it up again. Show me again. Do that look like a Dan Marino shirt? Come on now. Think about it. He can change that quick. He can change up that quick.
Why was this picture included in the book soon after your description?
I did not write that book. A ghostwriter wrote that. He just put that on there.
And he never ran anything by you.
You think I would wear a suit, a two-piece suit with an overcoat on? Come on now, cashmere overcoat.
I mean, to be fair, it does mention in the book they went back to the hotel, and then they went to go get liquored up. But yes, all this is admissible if they think it's credible. And look at her trying not to smile. She's got like look at this smile. Look at her face. She's like trying so hard not to laugh. But no, I think it's a very good point. Like, yes, it looks like he's got wintertime attire on. I mean, I mean, do you agree that looks a little weird?
So that's the type of thing where when prosecutors have a case that they can make with something else, like the statements that are pertinent to the moment, if it was the prosecutor making the allegation that those photos were, because this is different. This is him. It's in a book.
Yes.
But if the prosecution at trial, like, credibly presented this to the jury as corroboration that he was there, it would be them stepping in it, because then the defense is going to be able to get up and be like, so you're taking this book at face value. Do you think that this is true? Do you think this is actually from that night?
Oh, I think so.
And then clearly this book is, if the witness obliges and is like, no, I don't really think it's from that night. So there's fiction in this book.
There is. But I also think you have to be careful, though, because this is now evidence that could come in. And he can say, I didn't work. They pay me a lot of money. I told them a bunch of stories. And it's like, so are you a liar? Are you a gangster? Are you really this dude? Are you really about this life?
Will you say anything?
Yeah. Are you going to say anything for attention and money?
I can picture him wanting to testify too, even though it would be a horrible idea.
He talks about that a little bit in here.
Oh boy.
Dr. Spaceco says, how does he know it's cashmere? Well, although I also think it's a little weird. How do you know exactly where you were on New Year's Eve, 1996? It's like we were at the, because he's going to say where it's at. It's like, I don't know if I remember exactly where I was every New Year's, but.
Well,
Orlando can change his clothes that quick.
I've watched some of your other interviews.
That's actually, but this statement here of like, how quick can you change your clothes? Like, you could change clothes pretty freaking quick. Like, it doesn't take more than, because you just dump your suit on the floor and put on, street clothes. It take minutes. So that part's not a good argument on his part. But yeah, saying like I'm dressed in winter attire, that is a good argument.
Came out with a few.
Also, the other thing is too, and this is where I don't know the story, but I'm assuming they're going to bring people in to claim they saw the beat, they see the beat down earlier that night. What was Orlando wearing that night? And I'm sure, I don't think they're going to say suit and tie. That's like the one thing I think that's really going to hurt the prosecution here is he wasn't wearing a suit and tie. So that's, and would I trade my Subaru for a black BMW 750? Of course I would. Even with the Tupac wheels, I don't care. A 7 Series is like awesome. Those things are yachts. But no, that's where I think is going to be an issue because they are going to call about 200 witnesses allegedly in this trial. From the prosecution alone, they claim it's going to be 4 weeks. I doubt it's going to be that long.
Prosecution says they think they need more than 4 weeks. And I mean, that doesn't always pan out, but.
Yeah. But I can like, there's only so much I think they're going to get into. And jury selection starts Monday, guys. So don't worry. We're going to watch Courtney Clenny and we're going to continue on Lindsay Clancy in the meantime until this trial actually starts because there's no, like, we're not going to twiddle our thumbs. This could easily be a week of jury selection. And we're not going to
keep getting Clenny and Clancy confused until then. Yes.
Created by JF says, I remember when I was in New Year's Eve 1999. That's about it.
That was a memorable one because wasn't like all of the technology supposed to shut off?
Yeah.
It was a big deal.
Cecilia says, I didn't realize there was even a trial happening. Holy shit, he's been gone a long time. Yeah, he was.
Yeah,
he was. But let's see. But no, I think that's one of the biggest problems is when they talk about the beatdown. And I wonder if there's video of it because people said it happened like in the casino. And the thing is with a casino, there are cameras everywhere. Like they film everything. And it's not for anything other than to stop cheaters. It's all they care about. So this beatdown is there. And if this guy, in Orlando Anderson's wearing shorts and a t-shirt or jeans and a t-shirt, I don't know how reliable the rest of it is, but we'll get to the rest of it though. We'll keep going here.
There was a Vlad TV interview as well.
They paid me money to say that stuff. Paid me money to say that stuff.
You were publicizing the book. Were you publicizing it?
Notice he's like, I'm paid. I'll say whatever you want if you pay me. What a hard gangster you are. I'll do whatever you for money.
Knowing that you didn't write it.
I think if we didn't have proffer statements here, I don't think that would be enough because I think people will believe that people will say anything to sell a book. But it's like this whole interview, he's like ignoring that he has these proffers as prior statements.
Mm-hmm. But he's also claiming those are lies, and it's like, yeah, you're saying that now after everything's done.
So how did your ghostwriter come up with the things that you said back in 2008?
Yeah. How do they come up with all this? I mean, it's one thing to creatively write and embellish a story, but you know, the idea is like, I don't doubt that, like, okay, you could have been there and seen it go down. Maybe you know who did it, but you know, this guy wasn't just going to fabricate. Like, there's no way you could just fabricate that whole story. That just seems a little bit of a stretch to me, that this writer would have fabricated it all the way, like the complete story. It doesn't. That's where I'm struggling a little bit with that, honestly, at least for me.
Yeah, I'd say same.
Yeah, well, let's keep going.
I was just trying to make my family some money. That's all it is. But you get where I'm coming from? Why would I wear a suit with an overcoat on and a hat September the 7th? Come on now. Think about it. Orlando can change clothes that quick. He can change clothes that quick. Honestly. You think he's a magic man? He got the clothes in the lobby. He can change them clothes that quick. Orlando was a kid, and that picture was 2 years later. That was on a New Year's Eve party. I did not write the book. That's going to show you that I didn't write the book. Why would I have on a suit? You know what I'm saying? I did not write that book.
But the book has been a center of discussion in prior court proceedings, and it seems like it may be brought up in trial. Your name's also associated with it on the front cover.
Okay. One more time?
I said that the book has been brought up in prior court hearings, and it could be brought up in court as well. Your name is on the front cover. So why not stop the book from being published if you knew it was going to be published, if you didn't write it?
I didn't know that. I never read it. I didn't know that book was going to be published. They gave me money. I just did for money. That's going to prove.
I didn't know they were going to publish the book. I told this.
Would you do it for money?
Yeah, I told this reporter everything. I mean, I didn't know he was going to use it. I told him it was like off the record. Isn't that like, you know, he's like, I thought America used to mean something. Could tell a reporter you committed a murder and nobody would report it. It's like, is the author credible? I don't think there's any issues with the author. I think he's going to testify. He's like, that's what he told me. He's like, what parts did he tell me? Yeah, where's your line on green things to say for money? That's, yeah. And yes, $20 is $20. And yeah, Keefe D is getting old. To be fair, he probably doesn't remember what he doesn't know what he had for breakfast. Yeah, well, that's. Yeah, fat guy says you can see the trust in his eyes. I know. If you can't trust a man like Duane Keefe D Davis, you know, we are really in a low trust society if you can't.
That I wasn't in, that was no big. Why would I, September the 7th, you know what I'm saying? Why would I wear a suit, overcoat, and a hat? And you can check out, it was 100 probably 100 some degrees on September the 7th. Just think about it. Why would I wear that? Orlando, he's a magician or something. He can change his clothes that quick. Come on now.
So if you didn't,
that was on New Year's Eve.
If you weren't,
a New Year's Eve party, and we're gonna have somebody come and tell you that was a New Year's Eve party. That wasn't no fight.
If you weren't there that night, how did you know the details to write about in this book?
I did not write that
or
book.
Where did these vivid details
come? You asked me one more time about on the interview, I swear.
Okay.
You asked me one more time.
But once again, like, yeah, he's getting super aggro. You know, and for those of you who are understanding, like, have I ever had clients like this? Yes. Well, it's written down. I didn't say it. Okay. They're saying you said it. I have to work with that from here. What part of it's not true? And they go, all of it. And I'm like,
yeah, for anyone that missed it, when he was promoting this book that he apparently didn't know was going to be published, he was calling it The Real Truth. So, and again, like,
yes,
you could be calling something that you know is hyperbolized the real truth because you are trying to sell something, but now because the judge has ruled it an adoptive admission because you promoted it this way.
Mm-hmm.
You're throwing away your protection of your 2008 statements to law enforcement because you've repeated some of those statements and gone beyond the content of what you talked about in that proffer in a book with your name on it that you then endorse as being the real truth. So that's like the layer of problems here. And maybe the jurors can be convinced, like, yeah, but even so, like, you were just lying and putting this all in a book, but you really had nothing to do with this. You're just trying to claim a story. False valor, whatever. But
but this is the problem when you start claiming. It's very much like you've seen Unforgiven, right?
No.
Okay. So in that movie, it's an Old West movie, and there's a reporter following around this gunslinger, and he's known as English Bob, and he talks about all these stories of all these men he's killed. And Gene Hackman walks up and starts kicking the shit out of English Bob, and he points out, like, the only man English Bob ever killed, they had a gunfight, and the other guy's gun didn't fire.
Like it jammed or something.
Yeah, and actually in the story, it blew up in the guy's hand, and the guy's standing there, and his hand's not working, and English Bob shoots him. That's his only, like, this guy, I'm only a part-time crook. It's like, well, then just say that. I get it though, when you say you're a part-time crook, nobody's gonna buy your book, so you want to act like this, the biggest gangbanger around. But when you say you're the gangbanger and yes, I did it, I was involved in this murder, you can't then get mad at the police going, I guess he was involved in this murder.
Yeah, I think that's the problem. He has to put himself ram-locked, horn-locked with Suge Knight, place himself in the vehicle to sell this book. Yes. But the problem is you can't say that you only made that up to sell this book when you already said that same thing, that you were in this car and you threw a gun in the back seat in 2008 already.
Yes.
Like, you can't undo and reverse engineer how you would have said that in 2008.
Yes. And yes, the title, If I Did It, was already taken. And Gabriel Loken says you can't be half pregnant, though. That's correct. Yes. There is no part, there is no halfway. But yes, so what happened was the state filed a motion in limine, and this is really long-winded, but Compton Street Legend and the underlying evidence that establishes the credibility of the defendant's accounts, as well as circumstantial evidence of the identity of the killers uncovered during the last 30 years. So they had an entire hearing on this. And guys, we're not reading this motion, and we're also not going to look at it, because in Nevada, they charge you 50 cents a page, and this is a 404-page motion.
Oh my God.
From what I understand, they probably put in most of this book, if I had to guess, because this book is a lot of pages. I don't know what it is, but I love you guys, but we're not doing that. We're not doing that. What did happen, though, and this is kind of tells you the tale of the tape here, the hearing was held, and where did this go? I hate this court search thing they have is so ridiculous at times. Yeah, it makes you scroll all the way through. There was a hearing on this already, and as of the TLDR, and don't mean to spoil it, but you're going to have to see it here. The matters were heard, and then as of August 4th, the motion was granted for the state, so it's all coming in. It's all coming in, and but Kat loves when you 400-page court filings.
I do, honestly. I do.
I know, but I like them too, but not when you have to pay for them.
I wish things were accessible. It is 2026.
I think it should be illegal to charge like 50 cents a page. You're charging me for internet data that you don't pay for.
It's already uploaded because it's instantly accessible as soon as you pay for it. So the labor's already done.
Yeah. And that's I've dealt with trying to get, deeds and records of land sales, and they're like, "Oh, we charge you for that." I'm like, I don't think that's legal, but you got to deal with it. So, how are they going to present the book? The rule of completeness? Oh,
no, because read the whole thing.
I don't think. Reading the whole thing would actually be really, really bad. That would be hilarious if they did, though, because it's gonna I'm a real gangsta.
Well, yeah, because I think that's going to be an interesting part of the trial is anytime something, because the gang context goes
Yes.
to motive and why there would have been a shooting in the first place. And at the same time, there's supposed to be this bifurcation of the gang enhancement, but how do you really separate it?
Yeah, because that's the motive. That's because you're going to have to explain why this happened. And guys, here's the thing. Even though you don't have to prove motive, you have to, if you can, you got to tell jurors why it happened. Because all they're going to know is this guy killed Tupac. But as the meme goes, why? Like, you have to tell them. It's a story. It has to have something to it. Now, that why might just be because I wanted to do it. It's because I bought this shiny gun and I wanted to see if it was going to work. So I saw somebody and it just happened to be Tupac. And I'm like, okay, I guess it works. That's a why. But
well, and more importantly, why would for Keefe D's role, why would he have put this gun? He says he just tossed it in the back seat, which is very, just throw things around. But that motive would be he was presumably, according to the state's theory, aware of this beatdown that took place hours before. And it was his family member. It was his younger family member.
His cousin.
And
his real
and then
cousin.
they're driving around. So that why is more it creates the connection to a conspiracy.
Yes.
And makes him play a role in the murder, even though he didn't pull the trigger himself.
Yeah. And so T-Rex, I hope that's clear. But yeah, and Kat, fill me in where I'm wrong. But that night was the Mike Tyson fight. And who did Mike Tyson fight? I don't even remember. Hold on. Mike Tyson fight. 1996. Well, there was Bruce Seldon. But there were a couple different fights Mike Tyson fought that year, which, think about it, back in the day when actual fighters would fight, and what a time to be alive. Although 1996, I'm not gonna lie, some of those were probably fixed. Who said that?
It was
nobody.
Ghost.
Yeah, it's just a ghost. Thank you.
It was Upside Down Sean.
Yeah, that was the other guy. I don't know who Bruce Seldon is. That's Mike Tyson fought a lot of nobodies. It's like Peter McNeely. Nobody knows him either anymore. It's like you just know the name. Yes, only in America. Yes, to quote the. But anyways, they were at the fight. Orlando Anderson was walking through the MGM, ran into the guys from Death Row Records, and it sounds like from what people say, Tupac was there, and they whooped the shit out of him. There was a fight. And, after that, Keefe D's story is that Anderson, got really banged up and went to the hospital. And the reason why this is kind of a big deal is Orlando Anderson is a Crip. Tupac wasn't a Blood, but he was very much affiliated with them. He hung out with them. And also, a lot of the Death Row Records had ties to the Bloods as far as gang activity is concerned. So that's why when they saw Orlando Anderson, there was a problem. They had their little beef, and they kind of went at it. Am I wrong?
Well, because it was Tupac in a group. So it was Tupac, it was Suge Knight, and it was other associates of theirs that were there.
And those guys either were or had affiliates to the Bloods. Yeah, they were the mob pure set. Yeah. He was blood curious. Oh my gosh. But yes, that is Jada had Tupac killed so she could become weak. Oh my gosh, some of you guys. So anyways, Orlando gets beat up. And the theory is that
you look kind of like smaller build from that picture in the book from the New Year's Eve party.
Yeah.
No.
So anyways, Orlando gets, his cousin. I think it's his cousin or his nephew. Nephew. So he goes, his nephew goes, "Hey, Unc, I just got my ass kicked by Tupac and the gang." So they load up and he takes his gun and he throws it in the back seat because, hey man, you're going to have to handle your business. This guy dissed you. You got to take care of it. Makes total sense in a gang. You have to do
I
the
can
work.
picture this detail actually being true contemporaneously, where in Keefe D's mind, he thinks if he just like subtly, without saying the words to someone, and puts the gun somewhere, that it'll never come back to him. I can picture him believing that's the way to do things.
Well, I mean, that's the way to do things too, but that's also in gangs and situations like that. If something happens to you, you're expected to put in the work yourself. That, like, if you're in a group and you get attacked, like, you're going to have to go handle this. Like, you know, if you want to, the gang's honor is at stake, but you're going to have to be the guy up front doing it too.
Yeah.
So here you go, man. Here's the gun. And, he's got it. And like, well, I guess I better do it. And they roll up a Tupac and just, I mean, it makes total sense. It makes total sense. And a lot of times, most murders and gang violence, all this stuff, it's over stupid things, pointless things. And this is one of those. Also beating him up was stupid and pointless. But that's how this goes.
Well, to add another layer of context in this case to what you just said, with the grand jury testimony, which that didn't happen until 2023. So we're like years removed from the actual shooting. I forget the guy's name, but he came forward. He was someone that used to hang out with this group that was in the car, or at least some of them in some capacity. Yes. And he was saying that during that time, contemporaneously, the story was that Big Dre, who was sitting next to Orlando in the back of the car, had to take the gun and actually take the shot. The idea floated was that he had a better vantage point, which to me doesn't make sense if Orlando would have been the one. If we're believing this, like, locking eyes with Suge Knight.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't make sense that the guy sitting behind the driver would have a better vantage point than the guy sitting behind in the passenger rear.
Yes.
But that's something that came up during the grand jury testimony. And I think the defense is going to try to, like, say that's a conflicting story. So obviously the book is fiction.
But then it just becomes an issue of, like, well, which parts of it are fiction? Because
if you put it in the back seat, does it really matter? Yeah,
and also but also he's gonna, because I'm sure the guy who did the book, I think he's still alive. I mean, and he's certainly gonna be a witness. Well, you took notes, right? How much did he tell you? Oh, he told me the whole thing. He's not gonna be like, oh, I made up the whole murder story. Because now he's defaming the guy. I implicated a guy in a murder for the lulz. It's like, no.
Simon and Schuster is going to come running like,
yeah,
we published this.
Yes. Yes, it's a romance novel. Yes. Yeah, well, you guys are talking. Yes, Mike Tyson fights were over quickly. Yes. But a lot, like, Tyson fought a lot of bums. Well, to be fair, Peter McNeely probably whoop all our butts. I'm just saying, like, there was Don King put together, good, things for him. But we'll finish this up here because there's a little more he gets into that's pretty good.
We're not here to talk about that book. I'm here to tell you how my family's life is in danger. I'm here to tell you about there's a bunch of lies going on. I'm not here to talk about that book. It's like a gag order on that type of stuff anyway. You know what I'm saying? So.
A lot of the stuff that's been a judge ruled that the 2008 police interview can be.
There's not really a gag order, but if there is, why are you talking, period? And chat, do not talk to the press about your murder trial. Please don't. Please don't. I can't imagine that his attorney allowed him to do this, but I'm sure you're not really able to tell Keefe D what to do, period.
Well, if they told him they'd pay him for the interview, I mean.
Oh, yeah, maybe. Although I wonder if they did, and God, that might come out of trial, because I bet now she'll get, hey, we'd like to talk to you about that. Here's a subpoena.
Oh my goodness.
If I was prosecuting this, I'd be subpoenaing her because it's something he published. It's all out there.
Yeah, and it'd be easy. She seems incredulous to what he's telling her, so she'd probably be a good witness for the state.
And she's just like, what the hell am I? She's like, what the hell's going on here? Also, surprisingly, they have phenomenal, like, if you guys, for those of you who have never been to jail before, these phones typically suck for the audio. This is remarkably good audio for jail phones.
Even though it's all taped up.
I'm very impressed. Yes. How many times that smashed on the wall, or every once, like when I go to like have to do this in places, I always ask for like, can I have one of your wipes? And I make sure, like, God knows how many ears that's been up to. Oof.
You got to get like a donut-shaped pad to put up to your ear.
Pretty much. Pretty much. But think about how many times that phone's been smacked against the wall. Oh.
I noticed in court you were very upset when that judge denied your defense's motion. What was your reaction? What was going through your head a couple of weeks ago in court?
What's going through my head?
Yeah.
She act like she was there. She wasn't there. She act like she was there. She was in junior high school or something. She wasn't there. She was in like high school. You know?
Do you regret giving that 2008 interview?
What's that?
Do you regret giving that 2008 interview to police?
You know, to me, I'd say 48 people from being federated. You know, they was going to give her like 700, 800 years. And my lawyer gave me a script to read. He said, this is the only way you're going home. So I just came back and read the script. And he told me we practiced that stuff before they even came to his office. And she said, the judge said that was at a federal building. That was at no federal building. That was at the lawyer's office. They act like they know everything. They don't know nothing. They wasn't there.
And you didn't know.
There. The judge wasn't there. The DA wasn't there. They act like they know everything. They wasn't there. It was at a lawyer's office. It was at a federal building, so that's covered. No, it wasn't at no federal building. It was at my lawyer's office.
Isn't that worse?
It was going to be recorded.
Hold on, let's pause there. Because the reason he's saying that is because one of the arguments for the suppression of these statements was that he was saying it under duress and that he wasn't voluntarily giving that statement. So wouldn't you be more comfortable if you were actually at your lawyer's office and not in like the law enforcement's home turf?
But you're also saying I lied about all of it. I don't know if you want to, like, maybe he's so far past a statute of limitations for everything. Because I mean, 2008 was a long time ago. But I mean, like, just saying I'll lie all the time, regardless of who's there and what's going on, just doesn't strike me as the most intelligent decision ever.
Yeah.
And Catherine is saying, yeah, he said in the Vlad TV interview, if you want to know the truth, about it, about what happened, buy my book. Yeah. No, and yeah, this is all made, and it's all made up now. So, and yeah, does it matter what building it's at? To an extent, because if you're sitting in the, a room at the jail where you're sitting there next to your attorney and you're shackled up and in a jumpsuit, it's a lot different than being at your attorney's office, sitting there in a conference room, like in friendly territory. It does. And Kat is very correct on that. It does change things.
Although at the end of the day, free will in the moment.
Yes, but ultimately, if you're sitting there with your attorney, regardless of where you are, it's going to be presumed to be generally voluntary because your attorney's there. If you're really getting coerced, he's there to stop it and protect you. Unless you're saying your attorney didn't do it. And you're like, but then you run into problems of like, well, what was your attorney actually doing? So there's in a way you're correct, but the biggest thing is though, were you there by yourself and was any like, you wouldn't show up to your attorney's office like, oh, hey, what's up, Attorney Bob? What are you doing? Oh, hey, I'm just going to go talk to the police in here. Don't worry about it. Like, no, he's going to be like, wait, what? And no, he's sitting there with you while you do it. When I've had clients give proffers, yes, I know, Chad, I've had clients who run a freaking gossip column. You do what you got to do some days. They don't do that unless you're sitting right there. Whether it's at your office, you go to the police station, you're at the jail, wherever it is, they never do a proffer without you there. There's just, that's inviting disaster. Number one. And number two, like that just your client's going to screw it up if something like that were to happen. That happens. So that's why you're always there. So the idea that these were coerced or duress statements, like, but your attorneys are with you. Like, you're doing this to protect people. It's like,
Well, so I think the
Yeah.
context, you just made me think of something else. The reason he's giving here doesn't make sense in the context, because the reason they started to talk to him wasn't in relation to this murder. It became a proffer session
Yes,
because he was
because he
facing drug
bargained.
charges.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's like, I could tell you all about Tupac. Well, and I apologize, Chad, if we didn't make that clear. In 2008, you know, they were doing some stupid crap of drugs, and, you know, they're neck deep in the game. And you know what? You know what's a great bargaining chip to throw on the table? I could tell you all about Tupac's death. And Tupac, it's barely been it's 12 years at that point. Oh, holy cow. Yeah, they'd be all about that. The FBI came out, everybody came out. So, yeah, I mean, he sold out as much stuff as he could to help all of his friends, and it's you know, you'll lie for everybody and anybody. You'll lie to protect your friends. Well, what if it's your friends that did the shooting? Are you lying to protect them now? Like, who are you like?
And
you know,
Orlando's dead at the time that he does this proffer.
Yeah.
And they don't
Orlando's
really
dead.
they have a lack of corroborating evidence. So
Yeah.
sometimes I think there's great reason to be skeptical of what someone might say during a proffer if they want to just get out. If they want, you can go home today if you just say these things. All right, sounds good. Who cares? I just won't get in trouble again. Wink, you know. But like sometimes the story is crafted around available discovery, tangible evidence, and the proffer statement is, whether it's truthful, it fits the other stuff that's there. But from my understanding, they didn't really have much. They pretty much had this guy's statement and the knowledge that there was a fight.
Yes. And that's enough to kind of start tying things together. But if you really believe he got immunity, but it's not even clear that he got that. It's not clear exactly how that was all worded, whether it was complete immunity, whether it was just use immunity. Like, it's not even clear what he actually had. But even if he had it, the fact you then 10 years later write a book and then go, ha ha ha, yes, I did it. Well, you're just an idiot now. And I think that, honestly, I think that's probably what happened here.
And if you're scared of other people, presumably that want some kind of retaliation for something, that's another reason why would you put that in a book, to put a target on your back?
Yeah.
Sure not.
But I wonder if he thinks, though, part of it is I'm the last of the Mohicans at this point, because I mean, by 2019,
play the song on the way out.
But I think he thinks he's one of the last people. I think he's one of the last men standing at this point. I think there's a lot of things here. Yeah, apparently Orlando was in the hospital when Tupac was shot, but I don't know if that was actually true yet or not. We don't know for sure. I think it was immunity for being charged in LA, and that certainly could be it, Laura, but we haven't seen the immunity document, but it doesn't matter anymore because it's all coming in. And ultimately, it doesn't matter because you had immunity for telling the police about that crime, but then you go ahead and admit to it somewhere else. That's not covered by immunity. And there's a famous case out of Virginia where a guy was accused of murder. He testified in his own defense, and he got acquitted. And he went back and wrote to the prosecutor's office, ha, 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 you stupid idiots. I was lying the whole time. Double jeopardy, you can't get me. Well, only double jeopardy with that evidence. They tried him, you know, because we found out you lied. And they used all that evidence and convicted him. So, yes, if you get immunity and you keep your mouth shut, great. But, you know, if you're sitting there being a brokey and you're like, I need money, you know, you talk yourself into a problem. And once again, guys, you know, regardless of what it is, don't talk yourself into crimes. There are real criminals enough who do that. You don't need to join them for just a little bit of money. So there's still more, guys. You're like, how can he say anything stupider? Don't worry, he does.
Not at all. They don't record. They do not record. It's the 302, and that dude did that just to make money.
Now, he's saying here the FBI does not record their statements. That's correct. When you talk with them, they write out 302s. They don't record anything. That's a very corrupt thing they do because not to be political about it, but the General Flynn stuff back in the first Trump administration, they had evidence that these 302s get revised and edited as they're putting them together. So there's no recorded statement to go along with it, but the LAPD can record statements. And that's a big difference. So yes, the FBI never records, but the police do. And what they recorded is going to be used. But it's a good example of the 302s, like the FBI could do it, and then they could go back and work through it.
But I have a hard time thinking that he doesn't understand the difference, but he's like choosing. I don't know if he's going to next mention that the LAPD have the recording, but what he's choosing to tell this reporter is interesting.
Well, I mean, like, he's not completely stupid, but I also wouldn't want him to pilot the space shuttle if I was on it.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be his co-conspirator.
Yeah, I wouldn't trust him to fly an airplane through a thunderstorm. But yes, I wouldn't want to commit a murder with this guy either.
My lawyers, they gave me 2 months to come back with my decision. It was going to take 40-some people to jail. And he said, this is the only way you're going home. He gave me a script to read, and I just came and read that script. That's what happened. And then she said it was at a federal building. That's why it's covered, baby. It wasn't at no federal building. It was at my lawyer's office.
You were...
Yeah, like she was there. She wasn't there. Giacomo wasn't there. You know what I'm saying?
That's the prosecutor.
This place is Jim Crow. They don't have no black people that work at the DA's office. Vegas is a monopoly of people. You got blacks, Hispanics, whites. They got Mormons. They got Filipino. The DA office consists of that type of atmosphere. It should be, but it's all whites. There's no, and they're using what's the name? That Indian man that's blackface. They're using him as blackface. You know what I'm saying? It should be a makeup of the people that the community is.
Poor reporter.
But it's all white people.
This is the part where it's like, it's all Jim Crow. It's all racism. But they're getting justice for a black man who got murdered.
Yeah, why he like randomly threw the Mormons in there.
Yeah. Well, yes, some people want the more like, but no, but he says like there's Hispanics and there's Filipinos, and he's like, but there's no black people. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry.
I wonder if that's actually true about that office.
I mean, hold on here. The Clark County DA, the size of it. There are over 700 employees. There are about 180 attorneys. I find it hard to believe that there are no black attorneys on the Clark County DA staff at all. And of the 500 support staff they have, I can't imagine they have, nobody else. It's just all white folk. Although it's funny, he's like, they're all white like them Filipinos. And I'm like, they're not white.
Yeah, no, I mean, I look at it, it can be an issue, but at the same time, it just seems like he's just looking for things to tell this reporter that make him the victim.
Yes. And I agree, Laura. I don't know about it, but it's a very ethnically diverse county. Yes. I mean, it's Nevada. It's not just, there are a lot of Hispanic people. There are a lot of black people in Las Vegas. Like, it's an international city. There are people from all over the world there. Like, this idea that it's, just a bunch of white cowboys doesn't really make any sense. But yeah, it's just anything. And this is anything at all. She's like, oh, you poor man, all these racist white people. He thinks she's going to click in on it.
She's just going to ask another question, I bet.
Yeah. No, I know, but he thinks she's going to be like, oh, Mr. Davis, oh my gosh, I'm here to help you now.
You know what I'm saying? This stuff out here is Jim Crow, and it's crazy.
You were promised, you gave that a 2008 interview, you were promised immunity. Were you under the impression that would also protect you?
I'm not should be not talking about that. I told you.
Okay, that is 100% the right answer. I'm not talking about that.
Should have said that from the beginning when he first talked about it.
Well, the real answer should have been, I'm not giving an interview. But yes, I'm not talking about this. Finally, we're now at the 13-minute mark, and you finally have said the correct statement. Oh, we're 13 minutes late. No, it wouldn't surprise me if this comes in, though. It wouldn't surprise me if this doesn't come in by the prosecution. The defense is certainly going to bring it in. And they're going to say, like, is it true you were lying? Yeah, and you did all this for money. I mean, I think they're going to have to if he starts, like, these statements are out there now. I don't know. I mean, we'll see, though. We'll see what the case ends up panning out like.
You know what I'm saying? I wish you could have came and did it face-to-face meeting, like the other lady did.
Would you have still answered my questions if I was there face-to-face?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. This is the best we could do at this moment before.
But like I say, they don't have no black people in there. No blacks. They don't got no Hispanics, no Filipinos. It's all white people. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not gonna get a fair trial because the DA, every time I go to court, he goes out in front of the thing and do his little speeches. He's tainting the jury pool, and it's wrong. You know what I'm saying? It's wrong. I'm not worried. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. The Lord got my back. I survived cancer and all that type of stuff, and I survived the streets. And the Lord got my back. So I'm not worried about it. And that picture was January the 1st, 1998 at the Sheraton Hotel. Why would I wear a overcoat with a suit in September in Las Vegas?
So your trial starts Monday here in Las Vegas, miles away from where Tupac was shot. What do you want the jury to know about you before they walk into that courtroom?
That I didn't do it and I'm an innocent man. And my nephew didn't do it either. He was at the hospital when they pulled up. My nephew was at the hospital when they pulled up. He didn't do it. They gave me a script to read in order to go home. My lawyer said, this is the only way you're going home. And when they came in that building that morning, I had been there an hour there rehearsing what to say to go home. They said, they don't want you, they want Buff Daddy. So he gave me a script to read, and he gave me a code word to say to them when they came in. And I said the code word, letting them know that I was down with it. And they already were pre-planning this stuff because they had his murder book there, Tupac's murder book there. All was framed and set up.
Puffy's name is
so
he's saying that they brought the Tupac context in.
Yeah. But guys, when they're talking about the murder book, that's the the collection of information homicide detectives use while they're putting together their file. They called it murder books, and now like every true crime wine mom knows they call it a murder book. But yes, that's a thing. And yes, he was dealing with the murder police, to quote the great Detective McNulty. But yes, it's interesting though. That's the only fake thing here is, well, these pictures aren't right. Okay. And well, the pictures aren't right. And honestly, if you ask the guy who wrote the book, he might say, yeah, actually in hindsight, those probably aren't the correct pictures for that. And that was a mistake, but that was the printer. Stuff got jumbled up.
But you ruin, I'm sure the prosecution is paying attention to coverage out there. And if they see this, now they're going to be aware and not, if they didn't already realize that those pictures might not be, or that there could be a plausible explanation for those pictures, now they're on alert to it. So it's another stupid reason to do this interview.
Oh, it is. It is. Because now,
it's so stupid.
And this is where I've said this before. When you're in these cases, a case like this, not even that case like this, but just anything. When I was an intern in law school, I was an intern in a prosecutor's office. And at first they're like, hey, Sean, and now I know why the prosecutors did this. They're like, hey man, hey buddy, do you want to listen to some jail calls? And I'm like, oh my God, this is great. I'm like, what's it for? He murdered these two women, but we don't know what we're going to be able to get out of it. So here you go, champ. And I was like, oh boy. And I started taking, I had a whole legal pad filled up with notes of this guy talking. And, I had to listen to him having phone sex with his white trash girlfriend. And he had these 6 women he was calling and talking to and mooching and basically them giving him commissary money. But I also caught a lot of statements he made. And I learned now as an attorney in hindsight, I'm like, I hate listening to jail calls. It sucks. There's like, I probably listen to 50, 60 hours of them. And I'm just sitting there as a person who's never done it before. I'm like, this is the best day ever. I'm like, I was so happy. I went home and I told Mrs. Martin 1.0 at the time. I'm like, oh my God, it's so cool. I got to listen to all this stuff. There are going to be interns, law students, people working in that office who are going to listen to everything that's out there. Their job is just to listen to recordings, listen to interviews, listen to YouTube stuff. Notes have already been taken on this, guaranteed. And this information has already been put together in a memo format. The people running the team know this. Like everything has already been this has entirely now been provided.
Yeah, and even that hospital bit, if that turns out to be true, that the time of the shooting, Orlando can be placed elsewhere. You put the gun in the back seat, and then there's Big Dre in the back seat, and the grand jury heard testimony that somebody said that they heard that Big Dre was in the back seat at that time and was past the gun because he had the better vantage point. So either way, I'm not really sure how that removes from either version of the story.
Yeah,
because necessarily removes him from.
Yeah. Oh, it was actually two other dudes in the back seat. Okay, but you gave him the gun, right? Yeah. That's still murder. You can't go, see, it was wrong. They said I was wearing red shoes when I robbed the bank. But in reality, I was wearing blue shoes. I went, no.
And it would be different if all they had was this book. I think they're like, I'm not a big fan of putting fiction on trial, but the fiction seems like it's based on something that was said in a proffer.
Yeah.
Like,
and this guy probably didn't have access to the proffer. The reporter didn't have access to the proffer, I bet. So
we didn't hear. We don't know because Keefe D is not telling this reporter. The judge wasn't there. The co-author wasn't there.
Yeah, but I wonder. Like, it's going to be really weird how like what you told the police is like, I have a feeling it's going to be pretty damn close. Obviously you're not going to remember it 100% spot on, but yeah, the story you told 10 years later that is apparently manufactured is exactly like the one you told the police. You're like, oh, I was just fooling about the whole time. It's like, sure you were.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm interested in watching this pro bono attorney do his thing. And for what it's worth, like, if somebody gets convicted, that does not mean I think the attorney was bad.
No.
So I'm excited to watch this attorney who decided to take this case for however this goes.
This attorney is not a schlub. He's a pretty good attorney. It's just, there's some times where you just, you give Michelangelo a block of marble, he'll carve you a statue. You could also give Michelangelo a pile of dog turds and he'll make you a statue, but it's going to be a statue out of dog turds. These aren't the best facts. Are they the worst facts? No, there's a lot you could do here, but what's a jury full of regular people going to say? A jury full of regular people is like, I wouldn't lie about committing a murder. That seems completely fucking dumb. You'd have to be completely stupid to lie about a murder.
Or why would you tell, like, people have such a difficult time. Why would you give police a statement? Why would you take a plea deal? So even aside from putting it in a book, why would you have said those things in 2008 to the police? Which I think I can understand why somebody would say things that aren't true in those situations if they get to go home today or don't get charged for something else promised. But I don't think the ordinary jury necessarily sees that. And then if this is played, if you're sitting there as a jury and the defense's theory is, well, he didn't even talk to this guy who actually wrote the book, the ghostwriter. He didn't talk. He just gave some details. Everything else was from the ghostwriter. But then you see the way this guy is yapping in this interview. Do you really believe he didn't speak to the ghostwriter? It doesn't reconcile.
But also just the way it's written. Because I'm sure this guy who wrote the book, are you a member of the Crips? No. Did you ever live in LA and do gang stuff? No. How would you the way this is written seems there's so much detail, but the detail all makes sense. Like in that book, that little passage I read, it wasn't like there were space aliens or, something ridiculous happened, or there was this rolling gunfight through LA and there was like Keefe D's hanging out of a helicopter, holding on to Orlando by his belt as he starts shooting. Like, there's none of that. It sounds like a drive-by. They were like looking for him. They saw him and they're like, all right, we're going to go tune him up. They roll up to him and the one guy rolls down the window, just boop, 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 drive off. That's pretty, like, this is the type of situation where that's a pretty logical way you do a drive-by. Like, that entire series of events is, dog bites mailman. It's pretty, like, gang members shooting at each other. They roll up on each other and they ambush. That happened.
And with the celebrity where they could plausibly be out the window waving at fans. Yeah.
And that could happen where people like, oh my God, it's Tupac. And he probably would wave out the window at people. Like, Tupac was very nice to his fans. Like, Tupac was really, that is the one thing. Like, Tupac is really cool. He loved the public. He wasn't afraid of them. He wasn't one of those asshole, music performers. Like, if you waved at him, he'd wave back. And he'd be like, what's up? And yeah, I mean, it totally makes sense. It totally makes sense. And Amanda Rez Uwu says, can you do a show with Kat instead of Ryan? Well, we might do some stuff coming up. I think there's a couple of really interesting trials coming up. And I don't know. Have you heard about the one? It's not because I was in Cleveland, but the attorney who murdered his client the day before.
The guy wants to go.
What?
Oh no! I heard about that story, but there's another one in Florida right now where a guy, it's like 6 years old. The guy killed his attorney, and he's on trial for that murder. It's not an attorney that killed a client, but the one I'm talking about in Florida, the guy wants to represent himself pro se. So
where's this at?
I think it's Miami-Dade.
Okay, you got to tell me about this one. But no, so this attorney, he was a divorce attorney, and his client comes in and he kills her. And this guy had these issues of not going, like, he didn't like going to trial, and like he had actually been in a lot of trouble because he would, like, this is back in like the early 2000s. He would call in bomb threats to get cases continued.
And he got this guy.
Yeah, and I actually talked to attorneys who dealt with him. They're like, oh yeah, totally. We all kind of like, there were kind of jokes like, oh, I got a case with so and so. There's gonna be a bomb. There's probably gonna be a bomb threat that morning. And the one guy's like, I didn't even prepare because I knew there was gonna be a bomb threat. And lo and behold, there was a bomb threat that morning, and the case got continued. Like,
and I mean,
yeah.
Can you keep that type of pattern of behavior out as 404 or
I don't know, but
that's gonna be an interesting question.
Yeah. Well, his case, and there's a lot of stuff going on. I haven't had a chance to get into it too much because it's finally taken off, but I think you might. That's a good one. You might. I'll send you the info on it because it's a neat one to cover.
Yeah, let's do that. We can do. That'd be fun.
So Christine says, "Do we know why Long Crime's not live on this Monday? It's going to be jury selection. There's a regular murder case, and I've mentioned this before. These high profile ones are different, but in America, a murder trial is generally like 3 days long. You pick a jury one day, maybe a day and a half, openings, then a couple of witnesses, from the prosecutor, a couple of witnesses from the defense, closing arguments, done. This is a little different, but I can't imagine them picking a jury in a day. It's going to take too long. It's probably going to be a couple of days.
And so that's why I could have missed it, but there was like some undetermined partial sequestration discussion, which could just end up being like give them a special entrance to how they're going to enter the courtroom, put them in a bus to go shuttle back to their cars. It's not really clear. So it could be something that's not that unusual. But maybe it'll be something more, since it's going to be a longer trial. If
they're going to do a full sequestration, it's like
they're not. The judge already said no to that.
I know, but think about nowadays. It's like, no, I can't. Like, can you afford to miss your job for 5 weeks? No. Why? I don't want to be homeless. Like, and especially the OJ trial, that was months and months and months. Those people were, they basically lived in jail, the jurors. So
horrible.
Yeah. I can only imagine, like, if I would probably make up something to get out of jury duty for something that long.
Yeah. Or family, like, because a lot of households are two working parents. Yeah. Like, if you're going to be stuck and you can't shuffle
I'm like, Judge, I'm a big internet celebrity. If people don't hear me talk like an idiot on the internet, What are they gonna think?
miss me.
Yes.
That would one more thing.
Sorry.
That would really suck. Like being on jury duty and not being able to come talk to the chat.
Yeah.
About the case you're watching because you can't talk about it. That would be awful.
Yes, it would. Also, yes, D. Marie, this is great on the questionnaire. East Coast, West Coast. That's all it says for question 1.
It's a fill in the blank. You have to actually write out your answer.
Yeah. D. Marie says, "Are we covering the trial?" I will be covering, and I know Kat's kind of up in the air because you're waiting to see how another one shakes out.
Yeah.
But I'm going to. I don't know if I'm going to be able to cover all of it live. I may have to be doing some of it at night. We'll see. The YSL trial was really long. Yep. But thank God those jurors were not sequestered. So that's, yeah. Oof.
You guys want to do a rewatch?
Yeah. But speaking of that, you've been covering some like Monk Tonk, some of his stuff in the YSL trial. The guy who they revoked his probation because they didn't like his answers in the trial.
Yep. So specifically, it was like the judge that took over, Judge Paige Reese Whitaker. It was like her first couple of weeks. I don't think she had the chance to experience the state's shenanigans in that trial. So I think
she's got her own shenanigans.
She's got some trouble.
Yeah.
Well, she got reversed. She got reversed on the way she restructured the sentencing. And then after she resentenced him, she never had a hearing for it. And so Mung Tunk's attorneys took issue with that, as they should, because they weren't present for a critical stage. Sentencing is always a critical stage. She didn't call a hearing for it. And that went up, and the Georgia Appeals Court just called it a constitutional violation. So that's a big no-no. I mean, she should know better.
And I see the attorneys that are down there in the Atlanta area. Also, how do you say Jim's name? Robichaud? Robichaud. Him, guys like Andrew Fleischman, some of these attorneys that are down there, Joshua Schaefer. You see these guys, and I'm like, I don't know
Why would you
what
mess
it is.
with them?
What's that?
Why would you do some BS in front of them? They're going to
but it's just these judges. It's like, I guess I'm very lucky that when I was in Ohio, I never ran into like crooked judges like this. But it seems like half the judges in like the Atlanta area are fucking crooked as the day is long. I don't.
And then when they get kicked out, they get hired by the district attorney's office.
Yeah, like
which just happened with was it Shamela Willis? I think was her name.
Yeah, but everything's crooked down there. I can't. Like the Dukes of Hazzard was wrong. Boss Hogg should have been black because at this point, like, you know, the corrupt Georgian like governors or politicians and stuff. It's like, what is going on in that area? I don't know. I really don't know. But anyways, let's keep going. Oh, do you have to leave? I know you have to leave in a little bit.
We can finish this out.
Okay. I just want to make sure.
I killed 3 people at a La Mirado Mall. I mean, at a Starbucks. Put them in the trunk. Then he came and brought drugs for me. You know what I'm saying? They let him go. His name Devontae Lee. They let him go. You know what I'm saying? 3 people.
Well, we only have a few minutes left.
He buy drugs for me. He's supposed to be one of their star witnesses. And it's wrong.
Mr. Davis, Puffy's name.
Notice, it's wrong the guy who murdered 3 people got a deal, but I got a deal for talking about murdering 1 guy. But he's the bad man. That's wrong. 3 people's too many. You're allowed to murder 1 person.
It's brought up a lot.
That's the standard for Keefe D, apparently.
Would they'd probably have to redact that if they bring this interview in, though, right? Because it's talking about him. I mean, maybe they would do one of the, like, in the YSL trial, they would redact, like, 2 words, play 2, redact another 2. And they didn't care that it sounded horrible, but... Yeah,
I think it's so funny, though. That would be the way to do it, though. It's like, notice his logic. You know, if you murder 3 people, you're bad. I only murdered 1, so I'm as third as bad as him.
If he murdered 3, he'd probably write 3 books. We'd have a whole series.
Yes, we'd have the
trilogy.
Yes.
Oh gosh.
Keefe D salty didn't get paid enough. Probably. He's like, wait, I could have made how much? Yeah, the Dukes of Hazzard with Fannie Willis. That would be great.
Oh my goodness.
Or Fawny.
through the book. Can you talk to me about the relationship between Puffy and Tupac back in the day?
I don't really know. I wasn't there. You know? Like I said, my lawyer gave me a script that he said you can save all your friends and your family. And I came and read that script to them in 2008. After they left, he high-fived me and everything. I told you, big dog. You know, they knew, that lawyer knew me, because they came in my garage one morning, that morning, and said, if you hire E. Fall, then we got to take you to jail. They told me what lawyer to hire and everything. Dude had a motive to make money this whole time.
That never happens. That never happens. Cops don't say hire so-and-so.
His name Greg Caden. He had a motive to make money the whole time.
Did that really anger you when you found out that the recording you gave has been released and Detective Caden has been broadcasting about it?
Yeah. He put my life in danger. Put my whole family's life in danger.
Is that the detective that wrote a book?
He came and asked me, do I want...
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. The detective who recorded this did write a book, but I don't know anything about the book, but yes.
It was called like Murder Rap or something.
Yeah. And it's like, oh no, yes, my family's in danger because everybody knows I'm a snitch. And like, listen, guys, I was only lying about all of you. I lied on all of you just to get out of trouble. I'm like, yes, you know, remember, Mr. Gangster, and he lies and snitches out people. It's like, that's another part of the code, man. You can't be snitching. But...
And that looks bad for you because that means the people who now want you because they think you snitched, think you said something truthful.
Yeah.
Although there's different definitions of snitches. There's always like some people use snitching to mean just saying something bad about me, and others to me it's typically understood.
Yes. But this one
telling
is
on something that I actually did.
But this is 100% snitching when you go to the cops and proffer. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Snitch out. Well, here we go.
I want to be in a witness protection program. I'm like, no, you know. They like protect your family at all causes.
After this is all over, how would you want to be remembered?
As a good man and a good father. And, you know, and it's wrong. You know what I'm saying? They got an innocent man in jail. All they had to do was just put a lie detector on me, and I would have passed with flying colors. I ain't killed nobody. My nephew ain't killed nobody. They had a script already ready. You know what I'm saying? And that guy, he's the worstest person on earth.
So
go around, kill people. The guy, Devontae Lee, he can go around, kill people. You know what I'm saying? Then they said my son put a hit out on him and $5,000. My son can't put a hit out on a goldfish. And it's wrong. They gave him $5,000 to move. My son ain't going near nobody that's going to kill somebody and get away with it for free.
If you're saying that you didn't do it, Orlando didn't do it, who did it?
To me, I think Reggie Wright did it because he on all them lies. He get on the internet and just go crazy.
All them lies, really. Reggie Wright, again, guys, the head of Death Row Security at the time for Death Row Records. But yes, that guy's the liar. You can't trust him. Wait, so you think because he's a liar, he did it? Huh.
I still can't get over her question.
It's good. It's good.
She presumed the ending. She said, when this is over, how would you want to be remembered? Like,
yeah. Don't worry. There's another question that gets better.
Oh gosh.
D. Marie says, why don't you do a polygraph? Because police like polygraphs, but in this situation where you've got other statements out there, you don't need the polygraph. And the problem is somebody like this guy lies about everything. I don't know if you're going to be able to get a baseline on him. Is your name Duane Davis? I don't know if he'll answer that truthfully. So,
and would he actually do one?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. If they actually rolled a polygraph in there, it's as I think as Aristophanes once wrote, Even the boldest seek to flee when death offers the hand. You're like, I'll take the polygraph. You roll that in there, I guarantee you he's just going to slurk down in his seat even more.
I would love to see what the decision would be.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. And guys, polygraphs are junk science. They're voodoo, but police love them because they're junk science. So, but
yeah, I think there's people that would offer because they know that they can pass, but there's people that would offer that believe strongly they can pass and lie their way through and not get detected, and that won't fly.
And there are ways to pass a polygraph, but you need like professional training to do it. There are ways to pass a polygraph, but it is really, really tough.
We do a group training chat.
D. Marie says, I picture the Scientology cans. Believe it or not, this is, I don't know if you've learned about this or heard about this. I hate to keep using The Wire, but at the beginning, the first episode of The Wire, they tricked the guy thinking it's a lie detector. They put a colander on his head and they tape some wires to it and have it like go into one of the side doors on a copier that they wheel into the room. And they ask him a question and then they hit the green button on it and it spits out a piece of paper saying he's lying. And a guy believed that and the guy confesses. That actually happens. That used to happen all the time. Like they take advantage of the stupidity of people. They can lie about that. They could generate a completely false polygraph and say you fail it. So there are times where they try to trick people into thinking that's the polygraph. They can almost do it that way.
Yes, it's no different than saying like, well, so we have so and so in the other room, and they just told us that they put your name on it. You did it. Well,
they do that in the episode as well. They show they get another set of guys to confess on each other because the one like they show it different ways, but it's because it's true. That's how they do it. And yes, if people are savvier now than they were 30 years ago, but I could see them trying the Scientology cans and just having a meter they could alter on their own, confessing people. So, but it's a real thing. It's really how they do it. Can we have Sean reenact, pretty please? I mean, we could try to figure some stuff out, but there's entire court cases of the police manufacturing like a fake polygraph and scaring idiot criminals. But yes, apparently you can lie. This guy lying, it's bad, but when Duane lies, it's just for money.
I had to look it up, but there was a case at New Jersey Supreme Court overturned back in March. Mm-hmm. And it was cumulative error, but one of the more egregious errors was the prosecutor referencing The Wire in their opening statements.
Yes.
So
really?
Don't do that. Yeah.
The prosecutor said this is just like out of The Wire or something?
They said, well, the appellate court said the state's framing of the case blurred the lines between the facts properly before the jury and the emotional undertones of uncharged violence, which created a real risk of distortion. And here they say the prosecutor invoked The Wire, a television series widely known for its portrayal of organized crime, violence, intimidation, and murder, thus analogizing the events leading to the Millville investigation to a large-scale violent criminal enterprise. And I believe if I pull up the decision, I'll send it to you, but I think they included transcripts of the opening statement.
That sounds good.
But yeah, don't do that.
Yeah, Gray Mondible says, Sean, give us your best Clay Davis impression. Shit. That's, yeah. If you guys haven't seen The Wire, you definitely need to watch it. It's good stuff.
I set Keefe D up. I set him up. Stuff like that. Then he told my son threatened his life. And he said, yo, Daddy, you know how my trigger finger is? So that's why he's suffering from COVID right now. He came and wiped his butt. You know what I'm saying? He came and feed himself. That's why he's suffering from COVID right now. I survived cancer. If I was a bad person, the Lord would have took me out. You know what I'm saying? The Lord would have took me out. I'm not worried about these people because
she is so trying hard not to laugh. She's like, oh. Me. Yeah.
I'm staying through God's hands. I'm gonna stand tall through it all. You know what I'm saying?
We've got 3 minutes left. It's gonna be 30 years.
She's like, thank God we're running out of time. But she's also sitting here like, here comes my Emmy.
Oh my goodness.
Since Tupac Shakur was murdered here in Las Vegas, does his family deserve the truth?
they do and it's gonna come out. The interviews, I was paid to say that stuff.
You're saying the truth will come out in trial?
Yeah, not trial. It's gonna come out once it. If I lose, I'm gonna send my stuff to a bigger court.
So you plan on fighting this till the very, very end?
To the very, very end, and I feel I'm gonna win because they don't have no evidence. They don't came. I'm not in. I wasn't even in Las Vegas, so I'm not worried about them.
I have a feeling they can prove he was in Las Vegas.
Yeah, I am all open to it, and I will scream on stream. I don't know if I'm streaming this, but I'll scream watching this if there's some bombshell from the defense that shows that he or Orlando, even just one of them, is provably somewhere else. I will be like, oh, get him! Oh, like it'll be a moment.
Yeah.
It really will. I will totally. I will too,
but I'm just saying from my experiences, I'm pretty sure they can prove he was here in town. It's not as good as things were back then, but maybe they have video footage of him at the fight. Like that'll be like that. I don't know. They've got to have something. They got to have something. But let's see the rest of this here.
Little Mark Giacomo, he can say all that stuff he wants. All he do is tell lies. Just like last week, agent Tolliver, ain't such agents, ain't such person. Agent Tolliver, Agent Tolliver. I ain't never heard of no Agent Tolliver. You know, FBI agent ain't no Tolliver. He just says he tell a lot of lies. They using that Indian man that like he blackface. You're not black. He's a gang expert and a hip hop expert. He's an Indian. He's not black. They using him as blackface, and it's wrong. You know what I'm saying? The DA office should be made up of the community. They should have some blacks in there. They should have some Latinos. They should have some Filipinos. You know what I'm saying? But they don't. All they got is, you know what I'm saying? And it's wrong.
So are you saying that you're being targeted?
Just like January 2024, he get on the front of the newspaper, in front of the TV, the rest of the year. Steve Wilson, the rest of the year. He's taking the jury pool. You know what I'm saying? And it's wrong.
Well, we got 1 minute left. Anything else that you want to add, Mr. Davis?
No, but I'm an innocent man, and the Lord's going to set me free. Like that Devontae Lee, he's the scum of the earth. He kills people. He go around snitching on people, setting people up and stuff like that. Then he pays them out of $5,000. You know what I'm saying? You heard him the other day. He get on TV and do an interview. What's the man, an Indian man? I asked him his name before. I ain't got to tell you, young man. Sir, I ain't got to tell you.
Call him a young man.
That's not professional.
Did he just mess up his story?
I think just a little bit here, yeah.
What's the man, an Indian man? I asked him his name before. I ain't got to tell you, young man. Sir, I ain't got to tell you. That's not professional. You know what I'm saying? All I asked him was his name.
Do you want to test? Do you plan on testifying? Do you want?
If I have to, I will. Yeah.
All right, we got 9 seconds left.
Man. That's all I can tell you. I'm an innocent man, and the Lord will set me free. And if I don't win in this court, I will win at the next level.
Well, there you go. Yes, that one guy, Devontae Lee, is really bad because he killed people, and then he lied on other people, and he snitched, and he lied and set other people up, and then he got a bunch of money to tell more lies. I think I know someone else who did all that based on what we've heard so far. The killing part, I think, is still to be determined, but he did the rest of it.
Yeah, I don't know. The state needs to prove their case always.
Yeah, but this statement right here of like, oh, this man's a bad man. Why? Well, he lied and he set people up. Like you did, Mr. Davis.
What if
this guy gets on the stand? He is toast.
I'm thinking of this attorney who took this pro bono. That's like, all right, maybe there's a fighting chance. This is so old. There's no available witnesses. There are inconsistencies in the statement. There's a lot of hyperbole. So like this is disprovable. We could work with some of this.
Yeah.
But what if he gets on the stand after anything that you can try here with what you've got?
Oh yeah,
and then he gets on the stand.
This is terrifying for attorneys that somebody like him, because I'm sure he's going to be like, I got this. I'll talk my way out of this.
He just did this interview. This is recent.
Yeah. This is him sitting there in a non-stress environment. When he's sitting there in front of the jury, like I said, he's innocent until proven guilty. But that said, you've got a big problem of why would people generally say, why would you say these things if they weren't true? Why would you claim to commit a murder if you didn't commit a murder? Especially it's one of the biggest things.
And I do fully believe that there are wrongful convictions because of false and coerced confessions. Do not get me wrong. But that usually doesn't involve a book after a process.
And I bet there are people who have been convicted because they ran their mouth about like, oh, I was the bad man, I did it, and they wanted a little bit of gloss for themselves, and they're like, oh yeah, I did the thing. Well, if you run around and tell people, hey, I did this crime, you also can't then turn around and get sad because the government's like, oh, okay, well, you say you did it good enough for us, and your story fits in, like, and it's one thing if I said I murdered Tupac and I got prosecuted for it. I think we could all agree, okay, yeah, that didn't happen. Sean was 11 years old when this happened. Like, he clearly didn't do it. But if I could tell you, yeah, I did it, and I have friends and family in the area, like all this stuff happened. My nephew was there and did it, like was involved and was running around Las Vegas at the time. It's a little harder for me. I think it'd be a little harder for people to say, okay, yeah, he probably didn't do it. It's like, that just matches up a little too much. So, yes, you knew it. I did it. Arrest me.
Yeah, and again, they never had the car. They never recovered the gun. So they really, what would they have had if they didn't have these statements? Like they didn't prosecute this until late. I'm always skeptical of a delayed prosecution.
I am too.
But it comes from a book. It comes from this book.
And the idea that if that book really started the investigation and kickstarted everything, I could see it taking 4 years to really plan it out, make sure you cross your T's and dot your I's, but yes, we generally also don't have somebody running along screaming, hell yeah, I did it. Here's how it all went down. But yes, it's a very late thing. But once again, this is very much bordering on, this guy gave them the opportunity to do this, because if he hadn't done this book, this is just an unsolved mystery with a conspiracy theory. And Johnny Knoxville just wanted to mention, I don't know why you're asking the question, but yes, Kat does kick ass. So, but anyways, Kat, I know I mentioned this thing you're going to next week. So what are you going to, if you don't mind us asking?
So I may or may not go. It's the Rashawn Jones case. Real quick background on that. It's in Miami-Dade County. It's a former University of Miami player who is accused of killing another University of Miami player, Brian Patta, in 2006. He wasn't arrested until 2001. The prosecutor that used to be the lead prosecutor on the case is Michael Von Zandt. He's now disgraced. He's still got like misconduct inquiries going on into him. The case gets turned over, and he's arrested.
Are these people this like? Because in Miami they also had the Courtney Clenny thing where one of those DAs got in trouble,
had to step down for violating attorney-client privilege. There's a whole mess in Miami-Dade County. It's a whole mess.
Steve Gosney, right?
Yes.
It's almost like they needed somebody to come in and teach him ethics.
Yes. Yes. 100%. 100%. The judge in the Rashawn Jones case was a colleague, used to work with this prosecution team. Not the current two prosecutors, but the team that was initially working with the case. She's now the judge. She wants to shut this court down. She says she wants to model it after the Carmelo Anthony trial because that judge protected the process. And she's like, I know that's Texas and I know we're Florida, but maybe the Florida appeals court will tell me I'm wrong. So she's already signaled to restricting media access, not just for like live streaming. She wants, if an attorney wants to file a motion, an idea that she's floating is she has to go through the motion and decide that whatever's being argued about will be admissible at trial before the media can even have access to the mention of such a motion or a statement.
She basically wants everything filed under, like, pre-filed.
Yep.
So not even like you actually file it with the clerk, but you email it to her first and she rules on it.
Yep.
Ooh, that is insane.
It's bad. And a very good media attorney representing the outlets argued on the media's behalf and already asked for a 2-week stay on proceedings in whenever she issues her orders, because they're planning to take it up to the appeals court. But it's crazy. This guy, Rashawn Jones, was arrested in 2001. Within 90 days, they had a jailhouse informant named George French Jones. No relation. They just have Jones as a last name. Has a confession. But Michael Von Zandt has used this same man, George French Jones, as a jailhouse snitch in other cases before. And there's deposition testimony where he's admitting that Michael Von Zandt offered him benefits, not just in the Rashawn Jones case, but for another case, Keandre Fields. And now that that information's come out, I've actually come under fire. The prosecutors were screaming in court about me because the deposition was part of a motion. So I uploaded it to YouTube. I was in court one day in person, and Law and Crime uploaded the same hearing I was at, and I uploaded the footage that Law and Crime uploaded.
Is this where they mentioned you?
They screamed that I was recording in court without permission. Cat Not Williams. The defense is like, that was Law and Crime. And they're like, no, it had to be Cat Not Williams. Like, it's just like, you guys clearly are too stupid to figure out how things work. So why should I even believe your case? Anyway, they tried him earlier this year. He was tried already. This is Florida. Six-person jury for a second-degree murder trial. After they couldn't come to a unanimous decision, but jurors spoke to the media after, and they said that they were split 5-1 for acquittal.
Ooh.
So this is a case that the prosecution's trying to retry. This jailhouse informant threatened, he didn't testify at the first trial because he had his attorney send an email saying, like, threatening to blow up their case if you put me on the stand. Like, don't put me on the stand.
Well, that sounds like, was that never disclosed?
It was disclosed. they had late disclosures of these emails.
That sounds like Brady material. If you put me on.
It's been so bad. This judge has been begging Rashawn Jones to take a plea. She improperly told him at a plea colloquy in February that if you go to trial and you get convicted, I have to sentence you to life. And that means life. The only way you'll be leaving is in a pine box. But that's not the sentencing range for second-degree murder.
And that's not what life means in Florida. Like, you could still get out. Yeah.
Well, we do. It would be with no parole option in Florida. But with second degree, I think it's 20 years minimum, 20 or 25 minimum.
So that's what I mean. So he gets 20 years. Yeah.
And it's improper for her to either be saying she's already determined her sentence, and two, to be advising him that that's what you face while pressuring a plea. And since then, 3 separate times she's tried to pressure him into a plea.
Really?
This week on Friday, there was a quick hearing, and the defense was like, hey, we came across exculpatory information. And she's like, well, hold on, this is for a plea, so let me see if your client wants to take a plea first. Let me colloquy him first. How do you adjudge? How do you address the defense saying we have something that goes to show our client's innocence? It's actually
something to show he's not going to take a plea, Your Honor. Well,
it's another jailhouse snitch saying that the other jailhouse snitch is a liar that came forward, and he's pressuring a plea. And she keeps telling the defendant, there's going to be a delay in your trial because the state's going to need time to inquire on this exculpatory information.
And he's been in jail now for a couple of years.
It's approaching 5. It'll be 5 years in like a week.
And the other problem you mentioned with these jailhouse snitches, there are jailhouse snitches that's their job almost. They are able to secure so many confessions that they basically give themselves free passes out of jail because they talk to so many guys and they get so much information. But that is a real thing. There are guys who will do that. There are guys who will sell you out for some commissary. I've had that where my client gets sold out for some commissary on this too.
Moving to a different cell, different roommate situation.
Yeah.
So
yeah, they'll sell you out for honey buns. But they'll also sell you out because now they can say, look, I've done all this work. Get me out or give me a good deal.
The other fun part about this is there was, after the mistrial, they have motions getting ready for a new trial. State wasn't available on the date that they set to like start picking a jury or whatever.
Or are they trying to remove the defense attorney?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
They're trying, the judge is already saying, like, in front of the client, right? You're not supposed to just, and they've done it repeatedly throughout this. The defense is currently trying to disqualify the judge for previous issues, for like predetermining judgment.
Yeah. Okay.
Before you hear any arguments. And the judge will even be like, I haven't had time to file your motions. You file them last minute. But then she'll say she's already made up her mind on what she's going to order and weigh. So it's sitting in front of the Court of Appeals to appeal her order denying the disqualification request. But now she's saying right in front of Rashawn Jones, and this may ultimately end up where your attorney can't be on your case anymore. Implying that there's some truth behind like allegations from now. George French Jones is alleging that his attorney at the time, Jeremy McLymont, just wired him $5,000 like 2 weeks ago to have him not cooperate in this case. And so this is like the one thing that I've seen the state disclose. They like file this publicly on the record.
This is
great.
We're going to use that. We're going to tell everybody this one thing that makes us look great.
They file this. They publicly disclose this. It's one thing. And defense is adamantly denying it. And then ESPN was calling and speaking to George French Jones after his May 19th of this year deposition. And he's saying in that deposition call that the prosecutor, Christina Diamond, said, I can't help you until after this is over, and mentioned Sarah Alvarez, who's the defense attorney. So it's just like, do you if you're the prosecutor, do you want to make the fight that this guy's credible? Because he's also claiming that you're the one that's doing unethical things. But I guess it's the card up their sleeve for a second trial. And it's insane. So that's kind of what I'm paying attention to. And unfortunately, I don't know how much of it will ultimately be streamed if it goes to trial. But it's a lot. It's a lot.
Wow. But you're out there on the front lines. Like, you're getting named and called out. Like,
I'm going to make it an intro eventually. I'm just waiting for her to come down with the media order. That way I don't contribute to whatever restrictions.
Is it already out there?
So there are two hearings where I was mentioned.
Yeah.
The one by name, I think, was public. The other one I was listening in, and they just referred to me as like the YouTuber.
Yeah. So it's not like
and in that hearing, they said I published stuff in response to a public records request, which is not like, no, I published.
Well, even if you did, that's fine. It's a public records request.
Like, they just have no grasp of the facts of their own case. They sound like bumbling idiots, and I'm pretty sure that's why they want to come up with a reason to restrict the media.
I mean, that's so funny though. That is, well, good luck if you get into it down there. This sounds like an interesting one. But yeah, actually it does. Ooh. Is there a lot of evidence?
Most of the first trial is online. The lead detective, he was on the stand for more than one day and got in a fight, an altercation in the hallway with a witness. He also is alleged to have a burner account where he was talking about that same witness online while he was under sequestration order, making comments online during the trial.
Oh, so he's in chat just talking shit.
Yes, and the judge denied all of the requests by the defense to probe that because it's his First Amendment right.
Witnesses now can talk in the trial?
She says it's First Amendment right, but all the other First Amendment arguments, the defendant wants a public trial, the media wants access, but she's saying, no, we got to restrict access.
Wow.
We got to gag the attorneys. Media can't speak. One of the reasons she said the media shouldn't be able to speak to the attorneys is because the prosecutor's office has a policy where they don't speak to the media about ongoing cases. So it's unfair that the media would be able to speak to the defense.
Well, that's your problem, that's the prosecutor's problem, not you.
It's a great time. It's a great time. I would highly recommend. following that one.
Yeah,
It'll piss you off and make you remember that Steve Gosney could have been the solution, and they
he could have. Yes. All right, we will. Hopefully you have some information out of that. I mean, unless you don't want to be going down there every day to cover it. I don't know.
I will absolutely be down there.
If you hope it happens, good.
August 28th is a big motions and limine hearing, so I'll be down.
So there's a little bit of time in between what's going on here and that.
Yeah, because there's something Friday, but I'm not sure if I'm going to go down for it. They don't let me in the Zoom anymore, but I'm going to try to go in the Zoom anyway.
Well, hey, just show up under a fake name.
Well,
it just wear like a mustache or something. Like, no, I'm not her.
I don't think they do that anyway. I was in the waiting room and I watched them pluck media out of there one of the hearings too. So
well, you're the media too, though. Don't sell yourself short on that. We're all the media. I mean, I went ahead and I designed it, but I never got it printed at time. But I printed out, like, you just go to like one of those ID card websites. You just print up like whatever, like, do you have an LLC for your stuff?
I was gonna.
I just set one up, Martin Media LLC, and it's just like Sean, producer, lead reporter.
I was just gonna wear my it's called due process stupid shirt.
Oh. But yeah, I mean, it's your own, like, it's kind of like, I kind of looked at it as it's that whole thing of just having a clipboard or a yellow vest on. You can go anywhere you want. Well, I've got a press credential. I work for a company. And like, you could just walk around with it, and like people are like, oh, you must be legit. You are a real reporter.
Yeah, I did go with a sport coat and yellow legal pads,
Yeah, that too.
So.
Yeah. And Johnny just wanted to subscribe. There you go. Got a new one.
Like I've been over there before, Johnny, or maybe I know you from the chat here. I don't
know. But no, so Courtney Clenny's playing out on Monday morning.
And the victim's family is on board with it. So
yeah, which I wonder if it's going to be something like second-degree murder, or is she going to get manslaughter? Or
I think because of sentencing guidelines, it's hard for me to believe that the charge will stay as second-degree murder.
Yeah, I think so too. But I wonder what it's going to be. Is it good? Like, I wonder if it's going to be manslaughter. I mean, she's been in jail now for how long? How many years?
Since August of 2022.
Yeah, so almost 4 years now. I kind of wonder if she's going to get something kind of like what they offered to Sarah Boone. Like, here's 10 years. You've already got 4 down. Like, you'll be out before you know it. It sounds like she's smart enough to want to take the deal, though. But
yeah, and I think the terms from the state might have been better if the family got on board, because this is the last, like, 2-3 months have really been the defense's time to file and put the state on notice to their witnesses and their evidence. And a lot of that evidence is the type of thing that, frankly, if the state introduced at trial the things that they want to be able to show about Courtney, it would open the door to counter good character evidence about the victim.
Yes.
And I do believe that had an impact on Christian Obumseli's family, where they're like, look, maybe we do not want to see our relative's name, his dirty laundry, get aired out.
Yeah, and or even if he's not, even if it's just accusations, do you want the memory of your son to be, oh, well, it sounds like he tuned up Courtney a couple of times and also killed a dog?
Yeah, that was huge news.
Yeah.
The arrest warrant for the animal abuse with the pictures of the dead dog. So
yeah, it's so sad for that dog. But
I think
also that he allegedly hit Courtney himself. Like, they were hitting each other. It's like,
and I think the state, maybe they didn't want to put up that fight in court, and then the family also perhaps being more open to some type of agreement, because there was a civil case and it says that Courtney was settled out. There's no terms about her agreement over there, but the estate, that lawsuit also was against, like, the medics and the apartment building, and one of the other parties agreed to pay all the medical expenses. Those terms were discussed by one of the media outlets. So it seems like there was recently, in the last 2 months or so, a resolution as far as Courtney and then the following parties in the civil litigation. And then this news comes down. So
yes. We'll find out Monday morning, it sounds like, at 9 a.m.
Yep.
And let me see here. Where is... No Mayo says, I've offered to house Courtney for early release. I'm not sure you want that. And Dolly Talk says, hi, Dolly, saying, so when should she get back to her career?
Right. Do they unsuspend OnlyFans accounts if you get... Maybe it depends on what the final charge is. And like, what if it's like a no, like what if it's like a no contest Alfred, like an Alfred plea or something?
Yeah. Yeah. It's going to be interesting. It will be, well, Johnny's saying this is proof you don't take murder seriously. Here's the deal. It's all about what you think as a prosecutor. You think you can, like, you don't offer plea deals if you think you can win. There are very rare times where prosecutors going to say, and I've had this happen once in a while, where they're like, look, I got a million things going on. Take this plea so your guy can fuck off and get off my docket. I've got too many things going to trial. You get that once in a while. You take advantage of that. But generally speaking, they understand that this is going to cost a lot of time. It's also going to cost a lot of money. And believe it or not, they have to worry about that. They have budgets. Now, their budget may seem infinite to a defense team, but they still have limits. They have limitations on their people and their resources. Those are all factors. And then ultimately, can we win the case? And what do the victims want? And what are we willing to tolerate? So, and honestly, I think there's enough evidence here that this wasn't just, Christian coming up to him like, well, I'm going to kill you, Rod. She's like, oh, no, please don't hurt me. Like, no, it wasn't that situation. It sounds like they were both kind of really, like, they weren't nice people to each other. They both had abused each other.
And they were drinking and doing coke and based on her journal notes. Like, so if I read her journal notes at face value, which I don't know why she would like lie in her journal notes, it seems like very close to that time period. Drinking coke. She herself was taking pain medication for a shoulder injury.
Yeah. And is it injustice to the victim? Well, I mean, if he's a guy who's been drinking and doing coke and they beat each other up, once again, it's not like Christian was like, my dear Courtney, my love, mon chéri, please put down the knife. I only wish to help you. Please, let's get sober and we'll wake up in the morning and, ow, you stabbed me. How dare you do that? I shall pass away now. It wasn't probably like that. I mean, let's be real. I'm sure there was a lot of screaming and hollering that went on that night. So, once again, he might be the dead guy, but is he a victim in the true sense?
Oh, one other thing that might bring some context here. The defense grabbed a hold of it. And very early on, the defense grabbed a hold of, even though the guy's on body cam speaking to the police, the defense, through their investigation, figured this out and went and interviewed a guy named Arthur Cupp. And he says he saw a fight the weekend before where a man in the view of Courtney's apartment was hitting on a girl. Presumably those two individuals, but who knows? You could cross-examine on him and maybe get around the reliability of his statement. But recently filed in the discovery and then argued in a motion was like February 26th or something. So like a month before, building staff, like security staff, is called up. And one of the staff members recorded an altercation outside where Courtney's screaming about stop hitting me or something to that effect, something that would imply to the listener standing outside who is recording this after a disturbance call, that the other person in the room is doing something physical to the other person. And the interesting part about that to me isn't like the allegation that this incident occurred. It's the fact that it never came out in discovery, even though the building staff was in possession of it, until the defense files it like a month or so ago. Yeah. And that's the type of thing where I feel like maybe the prosecutor's like, I don't want to try this because now it looks difficult.
Yeah. No, and Johnny, I'm not saying he was trying to stab her. No, I think they were having a fight and she pulled out a knife, and Karen saying, didn't she threw according to Courtney, she threw the knife and magically
flung it.
Yes, she threw the knife and it magically flung into him like it was in the Expendables and caught him and killed him. And then apparently he fell down, he pulled out the knife and fell down on it 15 times, if you ask Courtney. But yes, he was stabbed, and he was stabbed like 15 times. Now, what's the most likely thing? They were coked up having a fight, and she tried to tickle his spleen with the knife.
I mean, I believe she was pissed on the belief, whether true or not, she was pissed, thinking he went out and was speaking to another girl while he was like getting Subway or walking the dogs or something.
Mm-hmm.
And she flew into a rage about it, is my view of what happened.
Sure.
But, you know, doing enough streams and coverage of the case and watching the comments, even though a good amount of the comments are like, she's guilty, there are a lot of people that are like, I think this was two ways. I think this was toxic. I think this might have been, and that's, I don't know if she requested 12 people or would get 12 people, or if it would be a 6-person jury.
I think it's only 6 unless it's a capital case in Florida.
So, well, but she was technically facing up to life.
Yeah,
so
but I think
sometimes they can ask.
I think so, but I gotta learn Florida still. So
I think it's like always denied though, but like you never know.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah, no, she stabbed him 15 times.
It was one. It was one.
One. I thought it was 15. Oh, I thought it was a couple. But anyway, is it just one? Okay. For some reason I thought it was more. Regardless, I don't think, did Christian Omaselli deserve to die? No. But is it like we've suffered a loss that the world's never going to be able to recover from now that he's not with us anymore? No.
But the question is, you've got to convince all the jurors.
Yeah.
And like I think there's always an uphill battle when and women do get convicted, but I do think it's a bigger uphill battle to convince someone that the girl, and I'm not saying it's right. I think it's a prejudice that is unfair in the situation where a man has to defend themselves against a woman who's being physically abusive.
Yeah.
But I do think there is that approach. People come into jury trials, and that's why you always hear the description. Well, the girl was only like 5'5" and 100 and something pounds, and you're like 200 pounds, right? They always point out the size difference and disparity. And I don't know. You got to seat the right jury to even start on a blank slate.
Sure. And the biggest thing is if they can show, remember, and I've learned this from a judge, and he said, he learned this while he was practicing. He said, juries need somebody to hate. And it's generally kind of easy for them to hate the defendant, generally speaking, in a case. But if you can get the jury to hate the victim, or we could pick another person that actually has never been to trial, but we've talked about, and they could hate some imaginary guy that they've never seen before. That's even easier because now it's somebody that's not here. But if they end up hating the victim, well, then your guy's actually looking good. And they might look at Christian and say, okay, yeah, she shouldn't have killed him, but nobody's going to feel bad that he's dead. Like maybe he needed killing. Like maybe the situation, the way it broke out, like nobody's actually upset. So that's why, juries, you might get one or two people say, I don't give a shit about these people. Screw them both. And I think
if they found Arthur Cup credible, then you have a witness who's saying that it was the guy beating on the girl just the weekend before this happened.
And Johnny says we have an epidemic of victim blaming in this country. Right or wrong? I mean, I will say this much. It's as they say in Texas, it's the he needed killing defense. Sometimes there are people who do need killed.
Oh, like the vigilante father that walks in on grown man with daughter, and like the
just in general, or like if a guy who gets killed but he's like a wife beater, or just in general, like nobody feels bad for this person being killed. It's kind of like if two gangbangers have a shootout and they get prosecuted. Nobody's like, maybe that guy's family, but no jury's sitting there saying like, oh, this poor gangbanger, and like weren't, or like if it's guys in a trailer park fighting each other and they're fighting each other over some toothless lady. Nobody's sitting there thinking like, oh, one of these guys, we were just about to cure cancer, or he was the next Raphael. Like, no, they're like, who cares? Like it's white trash or goobers fighting each other. Sometimes like that is the victim. Like nobody cares. Why are we here dealing with this?
If some of the things that like Clenny is a case I did a huge deep dive on. There's a message in her journal notes where she's describing how she like hits him to relieve tension, not hit him because he hits her. Right. So it's a big deal, but I don't know if the jury would be able to see that.
Awesome.
It's in her journal notes. So it's not like to me, it was that kind of like sealed the deal for me, but I'm seeing things that the jury's not going to see. There were several videos and audio clips that are publicized, typically online. Some have been like newsworthy, streamed on like primetime TV and in little documentaries about her that weren't going to be admissible. So a lot of that stuff that can make it seem so easy to someone observing outside of the courtroom, I don't think the jury was going to see a lot of that. Like her attorneys have really been fighting, and I really don't think the prosecution was prepared for them to come and produce these other things that, hey, if you open the door, we're going to show the jury this thing that's going to make them not sympathize with the victim.
Yes.
And again, there are people that would just not like a victim because they heard there was an arrest warrant because he abused an animal.
Yeah.
And that's all some people would need to hear. That piece of evidence alone would have to be a set of voir dire questions.
Yes. Oh, it will be. It will be. But I think ultimately, though, it helps because if you say like, oh, Christian was the nice, he was a nice guy. He didn't do nothing wrong. And, he did all these things. Like, well, what, like, do nice guys do this? And that's part of the problem when the state tries to oversell how pure their victim is, or on the defense side. There are times where defense witnesses accidentally you'll try to tell witnesses, don't open the door, don't say anything outlandish. But I've had it before, like, oh no, he's the best guy ever. He never hurt a fly. And I'm just like, oh, because now they bring up like, oh, he had prior assault convictions. Did you know about this time he broke a dude's jaw? Do you know
Your
about
Honor, he just asked him on direct about this.
Yeah. But I stayed out. You stay out of it. Or there's times where like on cross the victim or the witness is up there and they're like, oh my God, I got to help my friend. So they just start blurting shit out and you're just like, and it's clear that the prosecutor, they just let this guy run at the mouth, even on cross. You just let him run. You're like, oh, I can use this guy. And yeah, the guy just squishes a turd under his foot. You're like, oh,
so I do think it was a gamble. I don't know how it would have went at trial. I would have loved to see hey, we think they opened the door arguments at trial because I believe there had been several moments. So unfortunately, we just, unless she changes her mind before Monday, we just won't see that play out.
I don't know. I have a feeling they're probably not. I assume like
I think the state got spooked, and I think it's going to be something less than a second-degree murder.
Oh, I think so too. Yeah, I think they got spooked. I mean, that always, especially on the eve of trial like this, because they were set to go at the end of the month, right?
Yeah, they didn't lock in a date, but they confirmed at the last hearing before this one that they were on track for third week of August.
Yeah. So, yeah, and it's, you don't try to back down because you spent all this time and effort on it too. But yeah, if they're willing to cut a deal that they hadn't been willing to cut forever, that says a lot. And it sounds like this is something the defense has probably been asking for forever. And now they're finally getting what they want and they snapped it up. So we'll see though. We'll have to wait till Monday morning because we just don't know. I'm going to be covering that live. So are you at all? Or?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
yeah, that's it. So what are you up to? You're up to next for Edric Faust, right?
So it's a panel show, and I think you mentioned Joshua Schiff, Atlanta attorney, criminal defense attorney. You guys might know him as the Court TV guy with the glasses.
Yes, the guy with the color glasses. Yes,
he's going to be there. I don't know if it's just Bob with Defense Diaries or if Allie's going to be there too. So sit over on one of my favorite YouTube names, Miss Janet Demeanor. It's a great name. Runkle's supposed to be joining, and Doug Weinstein is supposed to be joining, and my panel is going to be with Alexa's room. We're the non-lawyer panel. It's going to be a good time. So we are speaking. If you don't know the Edric Faust case, another Georgia case, cold case. Interesting thing is, it's basically the evidence they have is DNA. They found DNA. It's not in the same areas as another possible person that was a suspect at some point in time. That guy's DNA is in more places, but jury convicts. And one of the major issues at that trial was Rule 412, the rape shield. And the idea of that is you don't want to just be shaming a victim, accusing them of sexual promiscuity, the type of she dressed a certain way, he dressed a certain way, they deserved it. But this is a cold case. And in this case, the way that the judge's rulings on Rule 12 were applied, the defense couldn't even get into, they lived in the same area, it was a college town, couldn't even get into discussions on, hey, someone says that they saw the victim at a Mexican restaurant that night that did like Thursday night events. Could have met the person there if Faust, the defendant, also frequented these bars and clubs that did their college night events. Couldn't even get into those possible explanations. So you have a defendant who isn't allowed to explain ways that his DNA could have gotten in the victim's mouth, for sure. There's debate about missing evidence and a swab being mislabeled as a vaginal swab, where another man his DNA was present, not on the oral swab, but in the vaginal and the anal swab. That's not the defendant. There was another guy. But the defendant isn't allowed to explain how his DNA could have possibly been there, but also nowhere in the house. And he gets convicted. So he's fighting for an appeal there. And it's a big panel on that case. So
that's the one where the attorney got held in contempt a couple of times, right? Or threatened with it?
For the opening statement.
Yeah.
The opening statement. Specifically because he started to talk about like possible consensual encounter and opening statement.
I think there were a couple times though where like it happened, but from what I understood, he was like totally within his right to make the arguments he was making.
That's my impression of it.
So
I didn't really like the judge's ruling. And I also think Rule 412 isn't designed to make it so you can't, when you realize you're accused 20 years later and have no way to go back and work backwards, I don't think Rule 12 is designed to preclude you from explaining how something could be possible.
And Erica says she thought he was a nice guy, and she said they couldn't prove it. So also created by JF says Cat loves a cheese sandwich. You do? Like grilled
quick
cheese?
And easy. No, just like sometimes I switch it up, but quick in the middle of a stream, just make a quick cheese sandwich. I don't need to clean much up.
Oh, nice. Well, like, do you use real cheese or do you use like Kraft singles?
I'm a big fan of Munster cheese.
Okay.
Sometimes Gouda.
All right.
Sliced cheese.
All right. Well, Kat, I know you're probably got to get over there. So if you have to take off, by all means. I was just going to read through some super chats and stuff.
Thank you for having me, and see you guys chat side next time. Bye.
All right, guys. See you over at Cat Not Williams, and you can see her over in the Edric Faust thing. I will probably divert us over there. But anyways, thank you so much, Kat. And yeah, she's great person, guys. Please follow her if you get the chance. I know she will appreciate it. So thank you guys all for being here. And now probably everybody's going to leave. All right, let's get to some super chats here. And Sean just really tried to cheese mug her. No, I'm not null. But no, I think there's some good cheese out there, as long as it's not like America cheese. But yeah, I was more about the sandwich aspect of it more than anything. So yeah, Kat does a great job. She really does, guys. Really does a great job. She's really good on Twitter because she doesn't comment on like an all stupid kind of crap like I do. She's really kind of focused on like criminal cases and the laws and stuff that happens. Like she does a good job at that. She's like focused, where I'm just like everywhere. So very different. Very, very different. That was fun. I'm glad you guys liked it. Like I said, I'm glad you guys liked it. Just a Cat is awesome. She very much is. She very much is, guys. So Florida defense team, hello, says Keefe D won a clout, but instead got him a court case. Yes. And that's one of the dangers. Like you start telling everybody, you've done this bad. You're a bad man. Okay. You're the bad man now. Well, no, I didn't mean like that. That's why you don't do this. Robert Lawrence for 5 subs. Let's go, chat. Let's go. Get to send a woo tonight. Get to send a woo from Clyde, who's snuggled up with the lovely future Mrs. Martin 2.0. We had a big thunderstorm today, and he was like, I was doing laundry, and I was like working on getting the laundry out of the dryer. And Clyde's just like sitting there, like pawing at my legs. He's like, help me, the thunder's getting me. I get a thunder just crack it off and outside, and he's just like, help. But then he went back to 2.0 and hid. Mario's been a member for 17 months. Thank you for being here. He says, Sean, you're upside down. That I was. I was inverted. Torgo the White's been a member for 33 months, says the Spider-Man song. Yes. 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 Radcon Hazard for $2 says, I'll admit that was a good bit. Has some shekels. Well, thank you. Then EDW Raptor for 15 real shekels from Israel says, I don't know. Maybe happy birthday. I'm not sure. Pesca says, this is 39 cents US suffer real. Thank you. No, hold on here. So that is just well, actually, what would be is that ruby? Is that rubles? Is it rubles? Yeah, hold on here. Russian ruble. What is the I'm pretty sure that is. Oh, God, this is all being goofy now. Well, I think I messed up here. Hold on. 1 Russian ruble is 1 cent. So I don't know which country. Hold on. Are you guys telling me here? Let's see here. Cat has a very focused tism, unlike my anarchic tism. Yes. Are we going to airbrush stream tonight? I went to Harbor Freight and got a new air compressor. So yes, we're going to try. We're going to try to work. Oh, by the way, if you guys are new, I am a nerd. So we paint models on this channel. And we are working on a 1/700 scale of the IJN Yamato. One of the largest battleships ever put to sea. That's there. And real quick, just preview stuff I've done before is like this. We're still finishing up on, but it is a this is an Elephant tank destroyer. So there you go. If you guys want to join us. So what was wrong with the compressor? It got fried. It's dead. I don't know what happened, but I think something. I'm getting a new. I put in a new surge protector. I think the surge protector toasted, and that toasted because I heard it with the bzzz after it had started up. I think it's dead. Something happened internally. So, but anyways, thank you, Pesca. I appreciate it. Radcon Hazard for $5 says that's almost as much as Stephen King tried to charge for the online version of his books back in the 90s. Yeah, yes, I've heard those stories. Yes. 2 Scoops of Destroyer says, Sean, I'm sad you think we'd be sloppy enough to get to trial and talk to the press. Well, there you go. Created by JF says, I was 16 in 96. I just turned 11 in 96. Let's see here. Let's see. Did I get everything? Pesca's saying, Sean, do you also cover coffee and affiliate link crimes? No, but I need to talk to Luther Morgan again. That actually might be a fun one to talk about there. The author of the Book of Lolcows, Luther Morgan, out there unraveling the coffee conspiracy from Jeremy Hambley. And Lolo Holmes says, Ed Burns, a writer on The Wire, was an actual Baltimore cop. Yes, he was. And actually, multiple people on The Wire were Baltimore police officers. So, for example, Bunny Coleman's lieutenant was actually Jay Landsman, who is portrayed by the big fat guy. The actual Jay Landsman is on the show. And one of the other homicide detectives is the former commissioner of the Baltimore Police Department who went to prison for corruption issues at the feds. So, yes. Johnny says, shouldn't Keefe just throw his nephew under the bus and plea? I mean, but there's nothing he can do if he takes a plea. The plea's to murder. They're not going to give him anything else. If I give you the gun and you go do the work, that's murder. If I'm pretty much in the car, like because, Keefe D is also the shot caller for the gang. And that proffer he made where he snitched out a bunch of people to save like 40 or 50 people, that shows he's in charge of the gang. So guess what? Your nephew is in charge of the gang. Like, you're in charge of the gang, your nephew's in. So you're in charge. You condoned the action. It's going to be implied, especially if you're in the car. So I don't think there is really anything to plea to other than murder. So I understand why he didn't plea. Johnny Knoxville with the super sticker. Thank you for being here, man. Thank you. Territory says, will Tupac's hologram be in court? That would be really, really funny if Tupac's hologram was there. Can you imagine that? But also, if I'm Tupac's, or if I'm Keefe D's attorney, I'll be like, ladies and gentlemen, you've heard all this, but is he really dead? I submit to you that he's not. And you've heard it yourself. For how many years now? Tupac is still alive. I think that'd be so funny if that happened. That would be hilarious. So, Duraco, I forgot to ask Kat this. If you say Biggie Smalls 3 times in the mirror, yes, I don't think she does. I don't think she does. T-Rex Travels for $5 with crypto. The doggo says, I missed the Thursday show. Did you talk about Phlox announcing they're flipping a switch all on their own to turn the LPR2247 video? No, I don't. What are they doing with it? To 24/7 video recording? No, but once again, chat, I will just say, if you use a Sawzall, the Diablo demolition blades are very, very effective at cutting through aluminum poles, or any number of items, or if you feel like just running them over. Those are all options. I will say probably the best thing to do if you really wanted to do it and not get in trouble is if you happen to sit there during daylight hours from really far away and shined a class 4 laser, which is something you need FDA approval for, you could probably buy off AliExpress or Alibaba.com. Who said that? And shine it in there. You could burn out sensors on the cameras. And if you do it during broad daylight from 500 feet away, you might not be noticed. Especially if you do it like you're sitting in a car reading a book and you're just like, zzz. I'm not saying you should do that. I'm just saying, like, we talk about mischief here a little bit, but yes, that's a thing. Ag Biochemist has been a member for 40 months. God dang, that's a long time. Says, I was promised sandwiches. Well, so was I, and I don't have any sandwiches, so that makes 2 of us. Let's see here. Let's see here. I am trying to catch up. Make sure you guys have things here. Yes, use promo code RAT. Yes. I'm on a list and it's not a Christmas list. That's true. I'm on a lot of lists. Oh, R is the Brazilian real. Okay. Well, thank you for being from Brazil, Pascal. I appreciate it. Appreciate that. We don't get too much love from Brazil. It's a South African rand. I thought that was ZAR was a South African rand. It's hard to keep up. Kat says, I hope you bought the warranty. It's a $60 air compressor. I'll be all right. Let's see. You were 2 in 1996. Well, there you go. Yeah, AI Tupac. Yes, Tupac's in Argentina making true rap music with Adolf Hitler. Yes. Aren't Tupac fans conflicted? This means he's actually dead then. Yeah. Mavka says Diablo blades are overpriced trash. Yeah, but they're good demo blades for what you need. And honestly, I'm not going to tell people, think about having regular people wander around, navigate the tool aisle at Harbor Freight, trying to find the right demo blades. Just get the Diablo ones. They work. Bandsaws are much quieter and faster cutting through aluminum stock. They are, but they're going to be corded. I don't think there's too many battery-powered bandsaws right now that are out there. If there were, yes, that'd be like cheat mode. Yes, class 4 lasers can burn out eyes and blind people and can light things on fire. Yes, be very careful with them. We get Reals and Black Flag also, although from Spain, yes. Jamie Moody says ZAR 14 for 14 South African Rand. This is South African Rand, aka ZAR. Ew, Sandwich Man. Thank you. Coalfield 2A says thank you. Thank you for that. Harbor Freight's my weakness. Well, that's why I went for the compressor today. Angle grinder for every task. Yeah, but that's going to be loud. All kinds of cordless bandsaws out there. Really? Lots of battery power ones. I've only had, anytime I've ever had a bandsaw, it's been like corded. So I didn't know. 5-inch Milwaukee and DeWalt bandsaws, $300 all day. Yeah, but you can buy a decent Sawzall for like $50 at Harbor Freight. So, is it the McGraw 3-gallon? Yes. I'm not buying like anything big. Chainsaw, stupid phone. I mean, a chainsaw would be good too. You'll shoot. You can, or I mean, if you really wanted to be good, you get one of those quick saws, like the big concrete cutting saws, and just fire that up and just right through. You'll be through it in like 2 seconds. By the time anybody hears the engine running, just and just cut right through it. You'll be on your way. So, you like the free flashlights, yeah. The demo saws, yeah. Nice, you've got one too. Okay. All right, guys. I think we're all caught up here. I think we're gonna try again with the compressor. I don't know. We're gonna give this a try in a little bit. Remember, chat, pay with cash and use as much old stuff as you got. Well, that's important too. Because if you don't pay with cash, people can find out. So I went to Harbor Freight so many times building a log cabin. Go to Harbor. Everybody goes to Harbor Freight so many times. It's ridiculous. I will say, I didn't know this, but I went there today. And they're like, well, are you joining our buyers club or our like special club? And I'm like, does it cost anything? He's like, oh yeah, it's like it's like 12, it's like 20 bucks a month or something like that. And he's like, well, you get special access to things. And I'm like, you guys are supposed to be the cheap ones. Why are you offering me like special buyers club stuff? Like even Harbor Freight's starting to get pricey now with their Chinese crap. So I assume eventually there's going to be like another Harbor Freight that out Harbor Freight's Harbor Freight, because they're like their quality's going up and up and up, and their prices are starting to go up. And it's like, but I don't want that. I don't want that. Yeah, the special access. Yeah. Yeah, it's basically like a subscription. And it's like, why would you do this? I give Harbor Freight their store phone number and I get a discount. That's a good one. Jillian says, thanks for the company, everybody. Yeah. Yeah, go to Alibaba too. It's $20 a year by 2 years. I thought it was more than that. Yeah, that's the thing. Harbor Freight's supposed to be shitty Chinesium tools, but now everybody's making their crap in China, so it's all shitty Chinesium. Watch out for them jacks. The jack stand thing is, you just can't be an idiot. You just have to double check the jack stands. They're fine otherwise. I will say those like Daytona jacks that they ripped off a Harbor or Snap-on from, really just any of their jacks, like their floor jacks, are like premium material. So the Real is from Brazil. Thank you. What's mostly a meme? Jack plus jack stand. Well, yeah. But I mean, the jack stands they sell are pretty good. You just got to be intelligent about them. Remember Craftsman used to be like a real product? Yes. But I also remember when you go to Harbor Freight and you'd buy something for $10 and it would last like the job. And then you never need that tool again. So. But yeah, the Harbor Freight jack stands are fine. The only people who died using were idiots. So what fried on the old compressor? I don't know. The electronics or the pump or something went down. So I don't know. The whole thing got fried. I replaced the whole power strip too, because it's plugged into the same power strip everything else is plugged into. So Let's see. Yeah, new Craftsman is not the same as old. All right, chat. With that said, we are going to wrap this up here. Thank you guys all for being here tonight. If you guys are new, welcome. Thank you. I'm going to send you guys over to stream over on my model channel because I don't want to mess. For some reason, I'm still convinced that I can get the algorithm to work in my favor one day. But we're going to head over there and try to paint this thing again. See if I could finally beat the problems these air guns give me, these little spray guns. And we'll see if we can finally get to work. We will start up in a little bit here. And that is going to be kind of our game plan. So we will start this trial when it gets going. The Lindsay Clancy one's pretty obvious at this point what's happening. And but we've got it started, and we can always come back to it. Courtney Clenny's Monday morning, and then when Keefe D starts, we're going to get... I think it's going to be a good one. I really want to see what they're going to be able to tell and how this is going to work. So with that said, everybody, he had a hard time finding it last night. That's because I kind of crashed out and I was like, I got really upset with everything. So I was kind of like, screw it, we're just deleting this. I was not recording myself crash out. So that's why. So, any thoughts on the TSAS 2011s? Apparently people like them. I mean, they're pretty good for what they are. I mean, apparently the SIG is a good one too that people sleep on, but I mean, I don't know. I still think if you're getting one of those, like you buy a Staccato, you're going to be good to go too. So, Lindsay getting that NGRI. Yes, she will. Oh, let's see here. We need a meme sticker and a code criminal stalker on Kick. I got to figure out how to do all that. I don't know how to do that yet. So, well, that said, chat, we are going to head out of here tonight. I will see you guys later. And remember, until next time, everybody, just because you did it does not mean you're guilty. Although it sounds like Keefe D, it sounds like you're really guilty, buddy. So good luck. Good luck. And good night, chat.
Weapons, blacksmithing, and models of planes, esoteric works, and even some trains. Much merriment had while drinking White Claws, tips on hunting, and even talking the law. Whatever you do, just don't talk to cops, even when they nab you on illegal stops. Just cause you did it doesn't mean you're guilty, but please talk to a local attorney. Was that the fat guy Rick hated yelled at? Why, yes it was, he even knows he's fat. For all this fun and more, there's one place to go, here on Sean Martin's Potentially Criminal Show.
Members of the public, I do apologize for the language that was just used. The statements that he's made, good or bad, do not necessarily reflect the views of anybody around this horseshoe, any staff, or the city. We appreciate your patience. This is a regular occurrence, and we do apologize.